business, ma'am. Side, please. Side, please. Thank you. Official business, sir. Ma'am. Emergency. Please step aside, sir.
Hey, get lost. I'm waiting here, huh?
FBI, you might want to stay out of this, all right, sir? Excuse me, sir. Ma'am, please. Back off. All right. I need 8 double tall.
Last time I checked, I believe it was Sunday morning. And you have to wonder, is it possible that there is some breaking secondary market news for Star Wars Hot Toys? And we're going to dive into that within this episode for sure. Welcome me back, baby, for Sunday morning coffee. My original time coming on here, 11:45, 12 noon on a Sunday. And it's a great time for me to just go do the market value chart show to go over all the crazy trends right now when it pertains to Star Wars Hot Toys. Is it possible that we can look into the Hot Toys Wizard's crystal ball and actually get some clairvoyance as to what can be coming out next from Hot Toys for Star Wars? And I say yes. And actually taking the primary market trends on what Hot Toys has been doing recently when it comes to Star Wars has been absolutely coffee spilling, baby. I'm going to try not to spill this in the official 6-scale Cantina mug because I've got a ton to go over with you. And what makes this more fun, actually, is as I go over, just like I did a year ago and when I first started, all the market trends, you get to put into the comments your thoughts, what you think. You can ask Aries anything on this show. It is Star Wars focused. It is Star Wars Hot Toys. It's about the secondary market. There are figures, big figures trending down. There are big figures trending up. What are the possibilities? I've got plenty of coffee. Let me set it down for a second because I have got one last thing to say to you before we go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead and dive into all of this right now. And welcome to another episode of the Market Value Chart Show right here at 6-scale Cantina. And just in case you don't know just who I am the Dark Jedi, Aries Tarrington, about to serve up all the Star Wars Hot Toys talk right here at 6-scale Cantina. Man, oh man, woman, oh woman, droid, oh droid, Star Wars, oh Star Wars. What a fun show this is going to be for sure. And listen, and it's my pleasure, absolutely, because I do this whether I have this channel or not. But you get to have the privilege, to get all this data. I spend hours, and I mean hours, okay, doing so much research on this stuff. It is uncanny. And really, it's unmatched. And so when you're coming over here, getting the data, it's a real treat for you and a real treat to go ahead and bookmark 6scalecantina.com, this little website right over here that I put up for you, that I maintain for you, that I pay for you, but really for me because I do it anyway. It's a real handy tool. And albeit not perfect, because nothing is, it's a lot of fun And I do all the work for you. So you can go look right on there to see what is going on within the secondary market for Star Wars and Hot Toys. It's a whole lot of fun. And honestly, keeping track of the secondary market trends for any collection that I'm into or that I was into was always so much fun for me. Always, always. And always a great way to know how is that collection going? What is the future of that particular hobby, that part of the collection? What are the possibilities? And while you can't really nail it down one way or another, and sometimes it'll twist and turn in ways that you couldn't even imagine, no matter how much data that you go ahead and put into it, it's just so much fun. But it does give you a little bit of a turbocharge to understand what can be coming out for your favorite hobby for sure, what next figures could be coming out, what's going to happen with the value of some of the current figures that you currently have within your collection. Are they going to come down? Are they going to go up? Are they going to level off? What about a 3-year projection? What about a 5-year projection? What about in 10 years? So hard, so hard to predict. And there's always so many different ways that it can go that you just never know. Obviously, when it came to Star Wars vintage figures, they went up, little down, and they are through the roof. Obviously, with the reemergence of Kenner, with those old, big, beefy orange card, Power of the Force figures, and then those much better green card Power of the Force figures. And then, of course, all that jazz in there, from the Power of the Jedi to the freeze frame figures, to your Episode 1 figures, to your Attack of the Clones figures, to your Revenge of the Sith figures, to Shadows of the Empire figures, to all those crazy figures, didn't quite go where a lot of people thought they were going to go. And then even further on top of that, you can go ahead and look at Hasbro as they took over. And it kind of went in a couple of different directions. While the same way with a lot of their stuff as with the Power of the Force stuff, not so much with the vintage collection, as those go through the damn roof. So collecting data is a lot of fun, and trying to figure out how all of this stuff is going to pan out when it comes to Star Wars. But there is one thing that I can tell you as we pause and sip some coffee. You can't just exactly 100% look at another IP, such as G.I. Joe, such as Marvel, okay, such as DC, and take it for 100% confidence and assurance that with Star Wars, it is going to be the same exact way. Because Star Wars is built very, very differently. And differently in the fact of, as we get into all this market stuff and that have a lot of fun spilling some coffee, drinking some coffee, and you can let me know what table you're at. I'll get to your comments. We'll get into all this. I do have breaking news within the secondary market for sure. And it's very, very important to keep up with this breaking news. Absolutely. But you can't look at Star Wars the same exact way because it's not built the same way as DC. It's not built the same way as Marvel. It's not built the same way as many things. It's really a phenomenon, okay? It's a worldwide phenomenon. It's built on toys. Absolutely 1,000% built the collectibles on toys. That's where it all started from. Not high-end collectibles, not something else. It was completely, utterly built on toys. The Kenner phenomenon, when they took a chance, and honestly, they took a chance, and George Lucas was just looking for anybody to make the damn toys. Because, a lot of the other companies did not want to touch it. Sure as heck, Kenner was so happy that they took a chance, and Kenner became huge because of Star Wars and because of George Lucas. But it's 1,000% built on toys. No matter what, now Star Wars is such a universal phenomenon. And right now, currently, really on the uptrend. You talk about trends in Asia. all thanks to the Mandalorian and to Grogu. um, it's built on toys, not on any other such things. Sure, they make coins or Star Wars minted coins. You can find them on Sideshow. All kinds of interesting stuff when it comes to Star Wars that you can collect. First and foremost, most though, it is based on toys, where a lot of other IPs simply are not. Now, that doesn't mean you can't take some of what's going on and kind of equate it to the same thing. But it's a little bit different with Star Wars. It's very, very, very unique indeed. And honestly, to be quite honest with you, it's very, very hard to pinpoint down, especially with the vast array of new collectors that are coming into and are discovering, quite frankly, Hot Toys Star Wars figures. It is absolutely unbelievable. But let's go ahead and say hi to some of you in here before we start breaking into some of this breaking news and getting into a market chart show Sunday morning coffee edition, because it is Sunday morning. And I guess for some of you now it's 17 after. I guess it's the afternoon. But for many of you watching, it is still the morning, even here in the U.S., but all over the world, depending on where you are or what planet you are. Maybe it's a few days ago. Maybe it's a few days later. Maybe it's a few years ago. Maybe it's a long time ago in a galaxy far, 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 far away.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
So I am so glad that you're all here to join me today here at 6 Scale Cantina. Let's go ahead and say hi to some of you in here. MB Dyson's in the house. Hasbro Pulse has a retro set of original 6-inch Kenner Star Wars 6 Kenner figures, up for pre-order, like the original early bird set. Oh, you betcha. And I saw that. And I really love those things. And I love those things from the retro collection and what they're doing. But it's very, very fearful for a lot of people such as myself that have collected vintage Star Wars, mint on the card, mint in the box. There are differences. They are the same molds, but they say that they're not the same molds, but they're the same molds. They're copies. Very, very, you really couldn't tell. Some difference with the fine little serial numbers you see on there and stuff like that. But it's so hard to pass off, which makes the original ones more harder and difficult to sell. And as good as the AFA is, I love the Action Figure Authority. And there's others in Europe, and there's others around that do a really good job. It's not 1,000% foolproof. Nothing is. Okay? Nothing is. Nothing is. There's been stuff that's gotten through there that is just very, very good BS as far as being original. Personally, for me, I like to use my own knowledge of what the heck it looks like. And I know if it's real or if it's not. But it's a difficult thing. It really, really is. And I say this all the time because MB Dyson 829, as we get into all this secondary market stuff, it's important for all of us to realize the reality. These are toys. And even when they call them a con exclusive, like the Dark Side Anakin, which we're going to talk about today, what does it mean? Is there any wording that they will never put out that figure again? Was there any wording from a vinyl Cape Jawa that's worth tens of thousands of dollars, and some Star Wars Grails vintage that are worth hundreds of thousands of dollars? Is it possible that you can't find any wording that says that they can never produce it again? And I say, yes. Isn't that a scary thought? Just pause and think about that. Take a sip of coffee for a minute and think that through. It's happened. It's just reality. There's no wording. And more specifically, there's no legal wording that says that cannot come out again. So just to be quite frank with you, zero. Goose egg, none. And even when they do, and if they do start coming out with, hey, for this San Diego Comic-Con, or for this Planet Tatooine Comic-Con, or for Planet Coruscant, Memory to the Jedi Temple con. This figure is exclusive. This lightsaber is exclusive. This coffee cup is exclusive. There are ways to use that mold and use that figure again, just with the right wording. It can be done. That being said, a lot of times you are investing in the packaging. A lot of times you are investing in some of the accessories it comes with. A lot of times you're investing in a marking that is very, very perspective, or a colorway that is very, very descriptive from that perspective. So you have to be very, very aware of what it is that you're getting into, because a lot of times we kind of confuse these toys like with something from a Franklin Mint or Norman Rockwell collection, which has a little bit more things within their fine print that make it more exclusive and a one-time run that's never going to happen again. And you have to be very, very careful with that. And while with the Black Series, they have been very, very good. And so, all the way back from Kenner in coming out with different colorways and reusing the same molds and putting it out in different packaging, or using the same exact mold and just changing the packaging. I mean, honestly, I can go back and tell you why packaging matters so much. You can go ahead and get a 12-back Farm Boy Luke Skywalker from the vintage Star Wars, okay? And there's variations to that as well. I mean, and so many different variations. One that some of you probably already know, a double telescoping lightsaber, which is a variation. But an Empire Strikes Back carded same figure will go for thousands and thousands of dollars, depending on the condition, and even in crappy condition right now. Thousands, especially if it's the farm. Well, it will be the Farm Boy one. Thousands of dollars. Okay. And they have something in Empire Strikes Back where it'll be like a 41 back. It'll go ahead and have a 52. It'll go ahead and have different numbers. The same darn packaging, just the fact that it has different stuff on the back of the packaging makes it also worth thousands of dollars. But a lot of times in the fact, depending on what the fine word is, whether they use the word exclusive or they don't use the word exclusive, they can go ahead and put it out again as long as it's somewhat different from a certain point of view. Good stuff in there. Jack Jones puts up in here, Aries, when will Hot Toys show more of the 20th anniversary Attack of the Clones figures? I think we're going to be diving into that with the secondary market trends and what is going on over here. I think that there's a deep possibility that you are going to see a lot of this Attack of the Clones upcoming for the New York Comic Con. Remember last year for New York Comic Con, we got some really, really big surprises. Number one, I felt, being Boba Fett on the throne. And then while they were showing Boba Fett on the throne, they also showed Fennec, where she had the mask on, where you could only see this part of the face last year as well. And I think there was a figure called Casca, Axe, Cobb Vanth. So while I think we may get some, a couple of Book of Boba Fett, announcements, some, Obi-Wan, besides Reva, we're going to get into that within this episode for sure. I do think that second wave of the Attack of the Clones, that Hot Toys already promised. They promised through a tease. We're going to get into that in this episode, Jack. They said, be prepared for our second wave, not our second figure, not a couple more figures. They were very, very precise, articulate, and very, very purposeful in the way that they worded that. 24 hours after drop number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5 back from May 4th. And I do have a hunch that New York Comic Con and the month here of September and also the month of October is going to be very, very fruitful with Star Wars and Hot Toys. And you have to wonder, Jack, is it possible through the months of September and October, no matter what event or what day it is, that there's going to be more from Attack of the Clones? And I say yes. Absolutely. So, all I'll say is you have to wonder.
They call him the Wizard.
MB Dyson says Dana Carvey had a funny bit about action figure variations, one having a slightly more bent finger. It's true. And Dana Carvey did that because it's exactly what I'm talking about here. And slightly different names: Megator, Megatu, Megatai, Mega Cantina. Come on. It's true. You have to go into this stuff, MB Dyson. I urge a lot of people to go into this stuff with a grain of salt on holding on to the value of, for instance, your Dark Side Anakin, the value of your DX07 2-pack Bespin Luke, to the value of your 1977 mint on card vintage AFA graded vinyl Cape Jawa. Hold on to that value, which that is tens of thousands of dollars, with a grain of salt, because you have to wonder. And I'm telling you, it's coming. And I know that we're not talking Black Series here, but I'm telling you it's coming. And I know we're not talking Hasbro or Retro Collection, but I'm telling you it's coming. Is it possible that a vintage carded Retro Collection vinyl Cape Jawa is going to be coming from Hasbro sometime in the upcoming years? And I say yes. What does that do to the value? They're still there. And sometimes it goes up, but it's still dicey. It's dicey. It's dicey. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to be like, frack that. I'm not going to remortgage the house to go find $35,000 for a vintage carded vinyl Cape Jawa. And I really didn't want that custom one that was really cool for $90 on eBay, but I can get one that's a commemorative version from the actual company, Hasbro, licensed by Star Wars, for what? Whatever the price is going to be then, $15.99, $19.99. And they'll say, do I buy that? And they say, yes. Never say it's never going to happen again. There's always a way for this stuff to happen. And so that's why I always caution people when you buy stuff in the secondary market. Heck, when you buy stuff at retail from Sideshow, from whatever seller you buy from, it's not always a guarantee that it will hold its retail value. Let me tell you something from experience. You can take some of those wonderful, beefed up, baby, orange card Power of the Force Star Wars line figures, whether it's 3 3/4, 12-inch vehicles, green carded, a little bit more sleek, finely retuned molding of Star Wars figures, and you try to sell some of them at retail, and you're gonna take a bath. You're gonna lose what you invested in. It doesn't happen with every line, but it does happen sometimes. Luckily and fortunately, with what we're dealing with Hot Toys and the phenomenon that is Hot Toys, and it is a phenomenon, let me tell you something. Every time that I have someone come over and they take a look at a Hot Toy, or I showed them to them on my phone, they're like, what the frack is that? That's a toy? And they literally do this while I'm showing them. Like I told you, I have a couple of friends that just see my collection. They have to start collecting Marvel because they're Marvel fanatics. They're like, I can't even believe something like this exists. There's a lot of people who don't even know that this hobby exists. I'm telling you, right, they don't know. Honestly, with my couple of friends, they only know from Mego. Okay? They only know from Mego. They only know from Kenner, from Hasbro. Oh, I saw that at Walmart. I saw that at Target. I was shopping with my wife. I was shopping with my son. I was shopping with my daughter. They don't know. It's interesting. And Marvel's just hugely popular, and people find out about it. And what's happening is, now that The Last Jedi is over and that controversy and everything's kind of evening out and everyone's kind of breathing a little bit, they're mostly happy with what Favreau and Filoni and Disney are doing, especially because it's more Favreau and Filoni and Deborah Chow running things instead of Disney. They're running it still, but they're letting them take the hands, and they're consulting George Lucas, and he's saying, well, I think this and I think that, and you guys should do this and you gals should do that, and they're kind of doing it. Still not flawless. Still not flawless. Remember, Lucas killed Darth Maul, and we always complain about Disney. Oh, they just bring people back. Well, Lucas was the one who brought back Maul, because Lucas is just going to do what he wants to do. So remember, we all cried for Lucas to come back, but he's going to come back and he's going to do what he wants to do, whether you want it or not. Always remember that. The grass isn't always greener on the other side. I'm just telling you, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. I personally don't have a problem with it. I love when they bring these people back to life because I love the whole fantasy aspect of it. I don't want realism. But that being said, it does piss a lot of people off. But you're thinking you're going to get George Lucas back and you're not going to be pissed off. You're going to be pissed off. Especially if you're a purist and you don't want people coming back. You're going to be more pissed off probably with him than Disney. Just being honest. But you asked for him and you got him. But fans will send him hate mail and he just doesn't care because he's George Lucas. And I love George Lucas. This is the way. Anyway, I don't want to digress. But this is the truth. This is the darn truth. I was so tired of hearing people. How could they bring the Emperor back? It was more feasible with the powers he had than Darth Maul getting cut in half. I would have a hard time if I got cut in half and I fell off the Empire State Building, unless I was some kind of god. It'd be a little bit difficult. Coffee, official 6-scale Cantina mug. Anyway, you got to watch with some of this market stuff in here. There's no guarantees on which way it can go. And when you also got to calculate Hot Toys, it is a phenomenon. It is an absolute phenomenon. They have these big Marvel license, the big Disney license, the Star Wars license. It's crazy. Good comments in there. Keep it coming as we go over some of this breaking news, a lot of breaking news actually, in the secondary market for Star Wars Hot Toys. MB Dyson also says the 50th anniversary Ultimate Super Special Editions of the original trilogy are coming. I hereby agree, and so does Kurt Angle. Star Wars Addict 88. Hey, everyone. Hey, what is going on? Braden says George Lucas does what George Lucas wants. Right. And I think everybody knows that with George Lucas. But, man, we really jumped on Kathleen Kennedy, didn't we? I mean, think about that. We jumped on Kathleen Kennedy. And we jumped on Disney. Lucas did the same stuff. Just saying. He did the same exact stuff. And is it possible now that he's back into the fray that he's going to do it again? And I say, yes. Yeah. And look, honestly, I have no problem with it. He brought back Darth Maul to life. No one's complaining anymore that he's in the animated series, are they? Complaining then, they're not complaining anymore. Hearing complaints now, oh, if they bring him back. Too bad. They're going to bring him back. Why? Not because Kathleen Kennedy wants Maul back. Actually, she doesn't. She didn't even want him associated at all with the sequels. It's what George Lucas wanted, which quite frankly would have been better. He also didn't want Luke to die, which was way, way better because George Lucas has half a brain to not want to kill Luke. So I'd rather have him back. Personally, and I'm so glad he's back. But if you don't think he's going to bring people back to life, just go look at the history. He will. MB Tyson also says, my original Keter farm boy Luke was beheaded. Dude, I messed up. Those figures, my goodness. And they're so junky, right? They're so junky, but they're so lovely. And look at the junk. I mean, really, they're actually reproducing junk. And I say that with love. But when you look at how awful, and I showed some people, they're like, man, those figures look awful. I mean, honestly, they are so crappy looking.
What a piece of junk.
Yeah, they really are. When you look at those, they are just so junky.
Blow that piece of junk out of the sky!
I mean, it's crazy. And they are reproducing with the retro collection this kind of garbage.
What about that ship?
That was garbage.
They just are. And you have to wonder why. Why? Because as a kid, it was so special to me to play with those crazy, crazy figures. And then so many people that are much younger than me, a new generation, even kids, are hearing about the vintage Star Wars stuff and the phenomenon that was and is vintage Star Wars collectibles, which makes all the Star Wars collectibles a little bit more, special's a wrong word, interesting is what I'll use to navigate through. And it goes crazy. And they're like, yes, that's why that they're putting out this retro collection. And these kids and these people are like, they're seeing this retro collection, or they see these pieces of junk for $10,000, and they're saying, hey, that's mine. That's mine. It's always the phenomenon that's going to sell it more than anything else. It's really interesting stuff, the human psyche to dive into collectively on this kind of stuff, for sure. But good comments in there. Keep it going. Diane S. says, live action Obi-Wan Maul showdown. I believe that that's going to happen. Hold my balls is in the house. What is going on, my friend? And Jack Jones says, exactly like the new Vader from Obi-Wan Kenobi, because the 40th Empire Vader will cost more. Even there is a new Vader out. We're going to be getting into that today. Braden says, George Lucas does what George Lucas wants. That is 1,000% the truth. All $4 billion he sold worth of it of. Goodness gracious me. Going into some of these other things over here. Insane one saying the Hot Toys Nightmare, good morning. And because the Hot Toys Nightmare is in the house, what is going on? And going into some of these other comments, goodness gracious. Any news from Braden Walsh on when Bo-Katan will drop? Look, I think it's going to be any day. Remember, they pushed that out. I got to get into some of the breaking news, but keep asking me. The beautiful stuff about doing the market chart show live with just myself and you guys is I can pre-record it and put it out like I used to do, but you get to participate and ask me any questions you want on secondary market trends. Aries, will something go down? Aries, will it go up? Aries, what about this? Aries, do you think this or that? You always get to participate in it as you're doing right now. Clink, a good morning to you as well. Community Arcade, good morning to you as well. If I miss some of you in here, I don't mean to miss you. Just keep putting it in there because it's so much for me to do everything. Plus talk, plus do this. The Clone Collector says, Aries, my friend, just got the clone Chrome Trooper, and I don't tell you now, the market value chart is going to go off the roof. It's an amazing piece. So I'm going to get into that because I have some breaking news on the chrome-plated Clone Trooper. Okay? And you're talking about the Stormtrooper. I do think that there is going to be some differences between the bronze Chrome Trooper and the Chrome Trooper and the porcelain Chrome Trooper and the Chrome. Chrome is very highly sought after. Chrome is almost like carbonized if you follow the Black Series at all. Chrome is kind of a very special thing, and especially where Star Wars is right now. I think it's going to give it a little bit more of a supercharge than some of those figures from the past. I don't think you can look at the figures from the past, the porcelain, the grandma's wallpaper, this or that, and say, hey, it's going to go exactly the way that's going to go. Number one, Star Wars is hotter. Number two, Star Wars is continue to get hotter because remember, as we rev into next year, you got Mandalorian season 3. You do. You do have the Mandalorian season 3 that is going to be coming up right at the beginning of the year.
This is the way.
And right from there, the Ahsoka series, which is going to tie right into the Mandoverse, probably from right where Mandalorian season 3 ends. And you talk about having the Mando will be in there. Luke Skywalker will be in there. Grogu will be in there. Bo-Katan will be in there. But more importantly, Moff Gideon will be in there. Grand Admiral Thrawn will be in there. Ezra Bridger will be in there. So much stuff. You're talking about Star Wars going on an avalanche unless they completely screw up the Ahsoka series. And for some reason, everybody here or everybody in the public hates Grand Admiral Thrawn. or Thrawn will suck, or Ezra will suck, or the World Between Worlds will suck, which it won't because you got Filoni in it. Goodness gracious. Think about where it's going to go. And you got to calculate that into effect. The other thing you got to calculate into effect in the secondary market is chrome is a little bit more than that brass copper plated one. It's going to be a little bit more sought after. And you have to wonder, how long have Hot Toys collectors been waiting for the 212? Let's go back to the 212. How long was that teased, the log with the airborne trooper? When is Hot Toys going to make clones, Aries? When are they going to come out with a clone? When are they going to come out with a clone? All of a sudden, they broke the internet with the Rex. Oh, my God. And the Cody. Oh, my God. And then you knew from there, once you had the announcement for Commander Cody, once you had the announcement for Captain Rex, that it was all over from there. So while most of us, and including me, know that the OT trooper is the OT, we've been waiting so long for clones that may I dare suggest that clone troopers are a little hotter right now than OT troopers just because of the long wait. Case in point, you're trying to go get some of those sideshow ones, even those ones that aren't out now. Try and get a sideshow Gree, a sideshow Fives, some of those sideshow clones, which are really, really good, actually. They're expensive as frack in the secondary, aren't they? They just are. They just are. And a little bit more than the OT ones. So you got to calculate that into effect. So for me, I can't just say, hey, that copper-plated Stormtrooper, it's only this, it's only 325, or yeah, but that's okay. It's an original Stormtrooper. It's not a clone trooper with the buzz that Star Wars has right now. So you really, 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 really have to add that into, and it's hard to figure out what's going to happen. It just is. But it's a darn good comment for sure as well. Insane one goes, Thrawn, wizard. I think Thrawn is a wizard. I can't wait to see his intellect. I would love Benedict Cumberbatch to do that, please. I know they said no. But sometimes, they kind of throw a little whammy at you saying, aha, we fooled you. I would lose my stuff if they were able to get Doctor Strange to play Thrawn. Oh, my God. He's the man. He's the man to do it. If they didn't do it, then they probably just need me to play. I could play Grand Admiral Thrawn. And I could play him like the most interesting man in the universe. Good day to you. Aries, I don't know about you, but I'm cold. Well, really, you're cold?
Oh, really? You're cold?
I could tell you what's not cold, and that's the arena suit Boba Fett and the chrome-plated suit that we're talking about. Lane's in the house. What's up, Lane? Great to have him on the show yesterday. That was an epic show. The one thing we need to have Star Wars do going forward, lightsaber stabs to the chest prove more dead than mostly dead, when revivals are a miracle bell in the lore. I think I'm trying to read what you're saying there, but unfortunately, my friend, Boba Fett said, I don't know, a dozen times in the Boba Fett series, I was left on the sands for dead on the sands of Tatooine. And he was left for dead on the sands of Tatooine. And Timothy Oliphant was left for dead on the sands of Tatooine. And Darth Maul was left for dead on the sands of Tatooine. And Fennec Shand was left for dead on the sands of Tatooine. And Boba Fett was left for dead in the sands of Tatooine. And TK-FOMO was left for dead on the sands of Tatooine. And CT-SUKIT was left for dead on the sands of Tatooine. So, unfortunately, that's the way of George Lucas. And unfortunately, what they're doing right now there, Mr. Lane, I have to tell you, whether you like it or not, my friend, as I fill up table 2, it's this.
This is the way.
Oh, my God, I love this stuff. All right, so listen, let's get into some of the breaking news. And listen, hit the like button. We've already got 50 in here. Let's smash the like button. Sunday morning coffee. I've got some breaking news, and breaking news from top to bottom. Let's tie into what's going on in the secondary market, what that means for future possibilities of what could be coming out. Let's spill our darn coffee, baby. Let's go to 6scalecantina.com. So I've got everything updated right now, right here at 6scalecantina.com. Go ahead and bookmark it. The biggest mover section, which is a snapshot of the Star Wars market value chart of the biggest trenders in a week or within a couple of week period, and the biggest trenders down. Not every trender, okay? Because I'm not going to put everything in there, okay? But it gives you the snapshot of what's moving the most and what's moving the least. There is some movement on some of the key figures that we've been looking at, including the arena suit Boba Fett, including the chrome clone trooper with the 2 helmets that it comes with, including Dark Side Anakin, including regular Anakin, including the animated Fett, including Han Solo, including so many figures. Let's go ahead and go. But you can see right here, right on the side. And if you don't have a bookmark, that is the latest banner. Let me blow it up for you for a minute so you can see it. So if you don't subscribe so you get a little bell ring of when I'm going to go live or when I put up another show. But if you also follow 6scalecantina.com on a daily basis, checking the values, seeing what's going on, you would know that I'm going live this morning. And that's it. Sunday morning coffee edition of the Market Chart Show, current market trends and data-driven possibilities. I don't want to digress and say how much hours I put into this, but I put into a ton of hours. Breaking news. Does that mean the arrow down means to do with the Anakins? Does that have to do with something else? We'll have to see. But you're seeing a lot of stuff out there for sure. Let's continue to go down to the biggest movers section, and let's go ahead and take a look. Wow. You're seeing a couple of arrows that are going in here. I'm going to kind of save that. Let's go ahead and start off with this chrome clone trooper, which you can see on the screen right now is trending up here within the secondary market for Star Wars Hot Toys, if you see that on the screen. So what is the future possibility for this chrome plated clone trooper with the 2 helmets, especially with the fact that they didn't make very many of them? And number 2, they sold out so quickly because they didn't make very many of them. What does that mean for the rest of this year? What kind of price can you get this figure for once they're all out? How about the price next year in 2023? What about in 2024 after the first season of the Ahsoka series is over? What about in 2024 when the Mandalorian season 4 or the next iteration of the Mandalorian, which they're going to do, comes out in 2024? What will this figure look like then? Let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on. And again, you can ask me any questions you want on this while we're going, and I'll go back to the chat. But first, I'm going to start off with the Chrome Clone Trooper here from 6scalecantina.com. Don't forget to become an insider. There's so many insiders in here because I dive into so much of this stuff. I know Lane on the chat was giving me a shout out on the panel yesterday about what I do on here. But let's get into some of these for sure and see where this is at. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this up onto the screen for the Chrome Clone Troopers. And you can see here a seller that we all know. This one is Tim Cent. Over 19,000 feedback now. Wow. All 100% positive. Wow. That is really, really good. But you see the 6 sold already. 6 sold, 1 available, $438. And that is with free shipping, not including taxes. So a pretty hefty penny for this figure coming off the bat. Is that actually the price for this Chrome Trooper? We're going to get into more of it. I'm just showing you one seller from overseas at this point. Let's go ahead and go to another one and see where this is at. Pulling this up onto the screen on the Chrome Clone Trooper. Same one. It's the same exact one that I have up there. And what I want to show you is a little bit of a whole list of these. And pulling that up on here, let me go ahead and actually pull this up on the screen for you as to where this is sitting. And this actually, let me just type it in here, MMS 643. MMS 643 to just show you live. I always have these bookmarked on where these are. So you see some of these listings coming up over here. You see $399 or $400, not including 15 in shipping. You're seeing some of these other listings now that these are coming out. New listing, Hot Toys MMS 643, $375. Of course, you see the 450s, the close to 500s, the over 500s, stuff like that as well. But, you could go ahead and pull this up. This looks like that this was an even cheaper price. Looks like a great seller. Almost 380 feedback. All 100% positive. Has a picture here. See if I can blow it up a little bit. Yeah, box looks cool as hell. Cool as hell. Just getting this in. About $375, but not including 15 in shipping. So that's $390, not including taxes. Over $400. Let's go back to 6scalecantina.com and see where I now have this Chrome Trooper from all the calculations and data that I do. And I'm going to go ahead and not sort it out. Best selling by hitting that arrow in the current value column. I'm just going to put in the word Chrome, and hopefully everything that's just Chrome will come up. And right here, Chrome Clone Trooper. And again, ask me any questions you want on this in the chat. Currently, I see this from all the data and where this is coming out and listings coming out. We're trending up at $350 and rising. So we're going to see, obviously, if they continually sell like that listing there at $385, or like you see a Tim Cent for $450 or $425 or $500. Obviously, the value will continue to go up from the original retail price, which was the first thing this was calculated into. But right now, I'm seeing this figure at $350 and rising up is where I see this figure right now, and where I think with everybody getting them in, this is going to land at an average. Now, is it possible that this 350 average can trend down to maybe more like around 330, 325, 340? And I say yes. But you have to wonder, is it also possible that this average can trend up and be more along the lines of 400 to even $450 because of what we were talking about before I showed this? And I also say yes. So that's two yeses. One about it being maybe right around here, a little lower. One a little bit above here, breaking the $400 tier range, which it is. It's selling a lot over $400 right now. But there's a lot of things to factor in here. If this turns out to be with the same desirability as the bronze OT Stormtrooper or even the porcelain Stormtrooper, it's not going to be a $450 figure. But what you have to start doing now is start wondering, will this have, because it's a clone trooper and it has the phase 1 helmet and it has a phase 2 helmet, is it going to make it more desirable to you? Let me ask you a question right now. If you had a choice, putting value aside, forget about value. You cannot answer this question. You really can't answer the question I'm about to pose to you if you don't take aside value. Take the value out. Okay? Let's say that they were worth nothing, or they were worth the same exact amount. Okay? What would you rather have? The porcelain OT Stormtrooper or this chrome-plated phase 1, phase 2 clone trooper? Answer it truthfully. If you answer it truthfully, you're going to see within the chat why this is going to be worth more than those ones that were previously released. And I don't mean to digress, but as I mentioned earlier in the program, I do think that the wait for Hot Toys to do clones has something to do with this. And I think that wait has spiraled into, we need more clones. We need more clones. And until you get them all out, until you get that Clone Commander Wolf, until you get that Hot Toys 5s, until you get all of the Bad Batch, until you get Bly, until you get Fox, until you get this one and that one and that one and this one. Okay? I think it's going to continue to be that type of high demand for sure. But right now, with the data that I see this at $350, but here's the key, and rising. And you can see what all those listings over there. Oh, okay, someone has it 375, someone put it up in there 400. That's cheaper than this one from Hong Kong, which has it at 435 or 450. And this is where we're seeing. We're going to have to keep an eye on it to see if it literally does, as these come out now, as these ship, as collectors hold on to them, if this will continue to rise, if it'll just stop right here, or if it'll dip down. I'm 50-50 on it. Let's go to the chat and see what some of you think. But this is some of the latest news as to what we have. And I see your super chats in there, and I'm going to get into it for sure. Draw the Line actually asks, I wonder if this will have a similar trajectory of the Remnant Trooper, or if it will keep going up. And that is a really good point. Maybe we'll take a look at the Remnant Trooper here in a little bit. I started to see signs of that Draw the Line, of it going up. Remember how that went way up, Draw the Line, the Remnant Trooper? And then it went down. And then it kind of went down more. But then it started to simmer up, is what I've been seeing. And I've been waiting to talk about that, keeping a very close eye. But I believe from the latest data that I have that is actually starting to simmer up now. If it is going to have a similar trajectory, here's where the dilemma comes in. And I spoke about it a little bit last night with the panel on the Us and Them show that we had last night. Well, that was the name of the banner. It was the Market Show Live. With these figures that are coming, that are being so limited, for instance, these con exclusives, we're talking about the first one here, the chrome-plated clone trooper. With them being so limited and basically going into the market with the value of a Count Dooku, that's what's happening here. This is the difference. Here's the difference, Draw the Line. Count Dooku came in here and it was 310 for a while. Remember that? 300. Then it kind of simmered up to 320. Then it kind of got up to 330, 350. Then it started to go ahead and get up over 400. And if you look at the trajectory of so many of these, even the Director Krennic, that was the same pathway, but not, and it's kind of the similar pathway with the Remnant Trooper, okay? Because it was in stock once it got its sideshow for a few months. Not this. This is gone. This is Caputo. Kind of like that Ray and Dio. Gone. Caputo. You can't get it. It was in stock for, 21 days. Gone. Gone. This one, even far more so. So I think you got to calculate that into effect. You can't get it anymore, except for the people that are getting it that want to cash in on it. And that's another thing to bring up over here as we talk about that. Because as we're looking at this, and as we're talking, and we're going to get into the arena suit Boba Fett next, and then the big breaking news as to what's going on here in a secondary market. Even though we may think, and I think, okay, people are starting to get them in, they're going to sell them, there's still a very limited quantity. There's not very many of these. That's why they sold out. The chrome-plated clone trooper. There's not many. They're sold out. There's not many of the arena suit Boba Fett. They're sold out. Okay? There's way more animated Fetts. So it's a question of how many collectors want to sell it to cash in, and how many collectors are going to think, I'm not going to sell it because I know I got a grail, and I don't want to get rid of it because what's it going to be in a few years? It's an interesting conversation. But that's my answer to that. Putting this in here from Hoth's Hometown Hero with the $5 drop going in here as we're talking about this arena suit, not the arena suit, the first secondary market figure with news today, this Chrome Trooper. But before I answer this super chat, let me know in the comments below. Seriously, all of you that are watching, and you should hit the like button if you haven't already. Please do that. I do appreciate that support, including the super chat in there. But make sure you hit the like button. I do appreciate that so much. It's going to be real interesting to let me know what you think in the chat. Do you think the chrome plated clone trooper, from everything that I've said the last few minutes, do you think it's going to go up from 350, where the market value chart, 6 scale Cantina has the value, and it's trending up? Do you think it'll trend down? And where ultimately do you think over the next few months, do you think in the chat, the chrome plated clone, there's no wrong answer. I'm curious to see what your thoughts are. And where you think it's going to go in the future with the limited run that it has. Let's get your thoughts on there. Let's go to the super chat now. New Han and new Chewie. Well, you know, as I fill up table 10, you do have to wonder.
Don't get cocky.
You do have to wonder.
You stuck-up, half-witted, scruffy-looking nerf herder.
You do have to wonder.
I have a really bad feeling about this.
Is it possible that the Dark Jedi has a good feeling about this? And I say yes. To answer the super chat, as we're getting into talking about this chrome-plated clone trooper, to first start off, Hot Toys has been very successful with the sales of their Han and Chewbacca 2-packs. When something is successful and something sells out and something needs a reissue, like the first Han and Chewbacca 2-pack, they go back to that data and they make an assessment of this shit if they should ever do that type of release again. So I think under that view, and also under the view, as we're looking, and we're going to look at the market value chart and see exactly what's going on with Han Solo, because I do got breaking news on Han Solo, and even more so on the Han Stormtrooper disguise. My God, my goodness on that. You have to wonder, that combined, that data of how they did in the past with selling those 2-packs and how it's doing within the secondary market, if they are considering doing that again, or if that's already even on the docket, Hoth's hometown hero. And the other thing that you have to wonder as well, to add in even more data, they went ahead and took a chance on April 13th, 2022. What is special about April 13th, 2022? Well, that is when the DX-25 Bespin, Luke Skywalker, from 1980, a 1980 film. You know, we talk a lot about, and I did too, this Deadpool cable. It's like that movie came out like 5 years ago. Like what? Well, Bespin Luke came out a gazillion years ago. A little bit of a different animal. And that was number one for not only one, not only two, not only three, not only four, but 5 weeks in the middle of a Marvel movie called Multiverse of Madness, Doctor Strange, on the heels of No Way Home, right in the cusp, in the thick of the Moon Knight series. And it was still number one from 1980 for 5 weeks. So if you want to throw in that data on if they're wondering or scratching their head, if we put out a Bespin Han, if we put out a Han and Chewbacca, is it really going to sell?
I have a really bad feeling about this.
And again, I think Hot Toys, with all that data collected, that they would have, my friend, a really good feeling about this. So thank you so much for the super chat, Hoth's hometown hero. I do appreciate that so much. Let's go ahead and get to some of these questions in here. Going back to this awesome looking this data right here, we're talking about first and foremost the chrome plated clone trooper. Let me go ahead and blow that back up onto the screen as we're looking at this here to try and get the accurate market data. And let me get to some of these. Dan S is saying Han always sells. Absolutely. And I think Hot Toys knows that. Again, I think they have a good feeling about that. Draw the Line asks, do you think they were waiting to capitalize on Harrison Ford's likeness rights, since we're likely to see a new Indiana Jones figures with the release of the new movie? Yes and no. I think that they are getting new license rights for the new movies to do the Indiana Jones, but I don't think that they're going to do any new likeness for Han Solo. For instance, when you go ahead and you talk about the Bespin Han that was teased in the Leia, the Bespin Leia photos. Why do I say that? Because those licenses are very, very tricky with a lot of legal mumbo jumbo, quoting Han from The Force Awakens. A lot of lingo, legal mumbo jumbo therein when you have a license like that. And they can't just go ahead and tease with a Bespin Leia the notion. They can't just go ahead and insinuate the idea of a Star Wars property that they absolutely do not already have the rights to put out. For instance, they would have never have teased that Mace Windu with the battle droid from May 5th in the battle droid photos if they already didn't have the rights and the figure already approved from Disney to show. It's just an impossibility. And you have to wonder, is that also possible when it came to the Han Solo from Bespin that they put in the Leia photos? And I say, yes, they couldn't do that. They couldn't do that without getting calls from Harrison Ford's attorneys. They couldn't do that without getting calls from Hot Toys attorneys or possibly having their license suspended. That is my honest view. And honestly, in being in production for the amount of years and my life that I have been in, I can tell you right now that I'm sure probably Disney at a much higher level that I'm even used to absolutely 100% has this in place. And that's why I think that the Bespin Luke is coming. I think the Bespin Han. I think the only thing that has held back the Bespin Han, and we're going to get into that within this episode with some data from the secondary market, the only thing that has held back another Han Solo from the original trilogy is the same thing that held back Baze Malbus, is the same thing that held back C-3PO for so long, was the same thing that held back the Bespin Luke for so long, was the same thing that held back the 212, was the same thing that held back the Airborne Trooper. Obviously, there's no problem selling a 212. Then why was it held back? It was only held back because of this.
Fulfill your destiny.
Good thoughts. Let's get to some of the other comments on here. Knight of Ren 789 says, I saw a Han and Chewbacca 2-pack over $1,300. Oof. Yeah, new, they go for that, and sometimes even more, especially new. And a lot of times used, a lot of times $900 to $1,100. Thus giving it an average of right around $1,000, which we'll get to here in a little bit. Goodness gracious, OG fan is in the house. Aries, Wonder, Possible, good Sunday morning to the Dark Jedi and everyone. Good having the OG fan in here for sure, as we're going ahead and we are talking about this chrome plated Chrome Trooper. Again, I see it at $350 right now and trending up. And we'll have to keep an eye to see where this is going to go. You could still go ahead and put in there where you think this is going to go. But right now, obviously selling a lot between $400 and $450. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see exactly where it goes for sure. Let's go ahead and go to more of the breaking news is doing. And going ahead and doing this, yes, the dark times for sure. Let's go ahead and go back to the biggest mover section here at 6scalecantina.com and look at some other stuff that's going on as we're getting into some of the big whammy stuff. Again, here is the current show. Current market trends and data-driven possibilities. Here, Market Chart Show, a Sunday coffee edition. We do have some breaking news. What does the trending down mean? And how about those other figures on there? How do they trend into exactly what we're talking about? All right, let's go into it. We started with the Chrome Clone Trooper, and there's where I have it. $350 is what you should be looking for right now to acquire that figure, and trending up. We'll see if it trends down. We'll see how far it goes. What about the arena suit Boba Fett? Let's get into some news with the arena suit Boba Fett and see what is going on. I'm going to pull some stuff over here onto the screen. And so there is this seller again. Again, over 19,000 feedback yet. All 100% positive. Already 11 sold. $649. Wow. An arena suit, Boba Fett, actual picture, out, coming out. Absolutely amazing. I don't remember a time when a Star Wars Hot Toys figure went on waitlist and did this at this kind of magnitude. Very, very crazy. You remember when the Mud Trooper went on waitlist before it ever got in stock? It didn't do this. It didn't do this. It got to $350 and then very quickly 400 and the low 400s, but it didn't do this. It did not do this. It just didn't. Very, very interesting indeed. Remember the Ray and Dio, even though that did get in stock, it was only in stock for 3 weeks, 21 days, and it didn't do this. Okay, so this is very, very new. This is going to be a new thing now for Star Wars Hot Toys that we have to dive into. Let's go ahead and take a look at everything when you sort this out over here, and then we'll go ahead and see what this is looking at on 6scalecantina.com and my data pull from the market value chart for sure. Let's pull this arena suit Boba Fett up on just a regular seller selling this in hand. So you could look at this right here from this seller. Not a whole lot of feedback though. All 100% positive, good seller. But not 30 yet, just 28. So a lot of times when people are looking to buy stuff on eBay and they buy when there's not a whole lot of feedback. Why do we care about feedback? Let's get into that. We care about feedback from a seller because you're about to spend like $660 here, not including the $35 in shipping, so $700 for an arena suit Boba Fett. And you like to look at feedback because you want data that proves you're going to be safe. And the reason I'm bringing up that you're looking for data to kind of substantiate your purchase is the same reason why I use data to substantiate my predictions. Why I use data to substantiate where I think a figure is within the secondary market for Star Wars Hot Toys. And data doesn't mean a whole lot of anything because you can go to Vegas and bet on a football game. You can bet on a fighter. All the data will point to this team will win. All the data will point to this fighter has the edge. It doesn't mean anything. You don't necessarily know where it's going to go. Where it does mean everything is the fact that it gives you a logical sense to point towards a good, safe bet of what could happen, which is exactly what I do. Going there, obviously, if this person had 2008 positive feedback, you're probably going to feel a lot safer than 28. This is just the way of things. So just a little thing on that I went ahead and plugged. Anyway, $660, 31 bids. Look, this was just on August 16th. 31 bids, not including the $35 in shipping, not including taxes. Okay? So even more than what that seller Tim Cent has it on right now. And then really, when you look at the arena suit Boba Fett, and let's actually just pull up everything that I can get, and we'll use eBay for this and see what the heck comes up. Let's have some fun over here. $649. There's a 800, 800, 900. Tim Cent's selling a lot of those because he has it a little bit cheaper than some of the other people right now. He's only going to have so many, though, because they only made a very small amount. What do they make of this? 300 in Hong Kong? So he's got to run out soon. 900 with 21 watchers. Geez, for Toys for Adults. Wow. 825. Don't know who the seller is. Already 5 watchers. 800, 7 watchers. You see one listed on here for 680. 850, 797, 707, $690, $689.79, not including the 70 in shipping. So really $740. So that's what that is. That's just never fall for that price when you first see it too. Look at the shipping because, you know, oh, Aries, something's $100 cheaper. Yeah, but you know, the shipping's 125, so it's really not. You got to look at all that. Yeah, this is hefty. This is all you could find. All you could find here on the Arena Suit Boba Fett. And make sure while you're watching this, I'll say it again, that you smash that like button. I do appreciate it. All the time that I put into putting this in here and talking this through with you, I do appreciate you going ahead and smashing the like button. Helps the algorithm for the video and helps the video be able to go out there to be able to get what it needs to get. And I'm certainly enjoying spilling my coffee here on Sunday Morning Coffee with you all. Let me know what table you're at. Do appreciate it. All right. So this is some very, very interesting stuff over here. Let me know what your thoughts are on this Arena Suit Boba Fett as I go ahead and go to 6scalecantina.com. Let's go to the market value chart for Star Wars. You already saw it on the biggest movers section. I believe it's number 1. Let's go ahead and see exactly where this is sitting. And all I'm going to type in is the word arena because that's all I'm going to need for this to show up. And there it is. Arena Suit Boba Fett CMS Comic Series 011. $649 according to the market value chart at 6scalecantina.com and rising. And in my view, from the data that I've seen, I feel that that is accurate right now at $649 and trending up here in the secondary market for Star Wars Hot Toys. So let me know where you think this figure is going to go. Is it possible that this figure will trend down below $600, maybe be at $549? Will it be a couple of $100 cheaper than the animated Boba Fett and just not be as highly sought after as that? Even though there were thousands of more of the animated Fett produced than this Arena Suit Boba Fett for sure. So let me know what you think this is going to do. Or is it just because it's rarer than the animated Boba Fett at the end of the day going to be even more valuable than the animated Boba Fett? And you also have to wonder, is it possible that many collectors get very finicky that if they already have a vintage color Boba Fett and an animated Boba Fett within their collection, that it's going to be hard for them to not try and get an Arena Suit Boba Fett because it falls under that category of novelty Hot Toys. It really does. This Arena Suit Boba Fett is not a movie or television. It's not a movie specific item. Neither is that animated Fett. Neither is that vintage color Boba Fett. It just isn't. It wasn't in Empire Strikes Back or in any extended version redone version of Empire Strikes Back or Return of the Jedi. So it's interesting to me. But right now we see this at $649 and rising. And then you also have to wonder, as you're putting in the comments there, and I'll take a look at them, what about as more people get these in hand? Will that decrease the value? But remember, there's not going to be 10,000 of these in hand like the heavy infantry Mandalorian. Remember that conversation? Oh, well, when those come in hand and people get their batches out, more people will sell them. What is there, 1,500 of these dripping wet? I think someone told me there, and it's shout out to Single Songwriter. I think it was 1,500 total. They actually put out the number for this. Way thousands less than the heavy infantry Mandalorian. So you have to wonder, is that going to play a part then? Is this really not going to be a high value figure and this is just fluff at the moment? Interesting. Let's get your thoughts on that, and then I'll give you mine. Let's go ahead and get to the chat and see what's going on over here. I wish they would do more Ewoks. Well, I think your wish, I think your wish may be coming true with the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi, for sure, for sure, my friend. So keep wishing upon a star, and Disney will tell you it doesn't matter who you are. That's absolute. But I say with this right here, personally, with this Arena Suit Boba Fett, that you're probably going to see this be around this price from here on forward. I do think it's possible that it can trend down. I just don't see it. The animated Boba Fett is always going to be somewhere around $600 to $700, right around that range. If you want to say between $600 and $800. This is far, far less. And also with all the hype and all the, not really hype, all the miscues that happened with Sideshow that surrounding this piece. There was a lot of miscues. Gosh, first it was going to come out in 2023. Then that was inaccurate. Then you were able to get 6 per order. And then that was inaccurate. And then they went ahead and started canceling some of those orders. There's a lot of weird history with this particular piece. I think when you put that into effect, and also add that to the fact that there's just nowhere near as many of these as the vintage color Boba Fett, and even more strongly, the animated Boba Fett, that when you put that data together, also with the fact that this is Boba Fett, okay? And like OG fan would always say, Boba Fett is the most feared bounty hunter in the galaxy. Must have all Boba Fetts. And I think he heard you, Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. By the way, they're OG fan, baby, with the season finale of Obi-Wan Kenobi, because when he, not Obi-Wan, Boba Fett, because he did do in Cad Bane and was once again the most feared bounty hunter in the galaxy. When you put all that together, I see this always being around 600, probably more. So I feel like that this is a very, very interesting price. OG fan, when Star Wars was just Star Wars, I don't know if I filled you up, but listen, he is Boba Fett, and he is here to take your pre-order.
I'm Boba Fett. I'm here to see the mayor.
Boba Fett. Do you have an appointment?
That's one of the best lies in television and movie history, in my view. I'm not kidding you. I love it. I absolutely love it. And then you also have to wonder, with this figure being so successful for Hot Toys and for Sideshow, is it possible that more figures such as this are going to be coming around? And I say, yes, I really, really do think that it's very, very possible. I'm going to have to blow up the screen to show you exactly what I'm looking at. But I think it's very, very possible to be looking at more and more figures like this right here. In case you don't know just what this is the Sideshow prototype white Boba Fett, which is quite pricey. What, around $500, maybe $600 in the secondary market for Sideshow 6-scale figures. Okay. And it's Boba Fett. And actually, this figure, I've seen many pictures of it. I feel like it holds up to anything that Hot Toys put. I mean, it looks good to me. I don't know. Some of you have it. Pose it, can tell me different. That type of thing. I don't know how the jetpack goes on or any of that. But it looks freaking sweet, to be honest with you. But again, you have to wonder, is it possible that now with the success of the Arena Suit Boba Fett, and quite frankly, the success of all the previously issued Boba Fetts, that Hot Toys is going to surprise us with a white prototype Boba Fett? And I say, yes. Wow, what do you think? I mean, this would sell out in the same amount of time. The hype for this white prototype Boba Fett would be absolutely insane. And I actually think, I dare say, even more insane than the arena suit Boba Fett, in my opinion, for sure. I really, really, really do. And I think at a con coming soon to you, whether it's this year, whether it's next year, or the year after, you can 100% bank on Hot Toys continually using the Return of the Jedi mold, which they will do for the 40th anniversary Return of the Jedi, and the Empire Strikes Back mold over and over and over again. And I don't want to hear, well, they have to concentrate. They don't have to concentrate on anything. They have to concentrate on making money. They don't have to concentrate on The Mandalorian when they put out the DX-25, and it was not only beating everything, and it was beating Doctor Strange and beating Spider-Man and Moon Knight. All they got to concentrate on is putting out Star Wars figures that I want, Star Wars figures that you want, whether it's The Mandalorian, whether it's the original trilogy. All they have to do is do that. And when they put out something, anything with the name Boba Fett, I can care less if it has anything to do with The Mandalorian or not. Care less. I could care less. They just put out the arena suit Boba Fett, which has zero to do with The Mandalorian or the Obi-Wan series or the Andor series or anything they supposedly have to concentrate on. They supposedly have to concentrate on all Boba Fett's, because Boba Fett, as OG Fan would say, is the most feared bounty hunter in the galaxy, and as I dare say, possibly the Iron Man for Star Wars from Hot Toys. But Aries, I don't want all those Boba Fetts. That's great. There's people that don't want all those Iron Mans. Guess what? They're going to sell them, and they're going to come with them real quick, damn fast, and in a hurry. For sure. No way around it. It's coming. That's what they got to concentrate on. Getting Star Wars where they had Marvel a few years ago to get this up. That's what they're doing. If you can't tell that by seeing all the announcements that they've been putting up that's been more heavily favored on Star Wars, I don't know what else to tell you. But that is where they're going right now. But absolutely, you can bet your arse that this particular one can be coming. But what do you think? They're going to pass on this? Like this would be like the Blurg? They're going to pass on this like this would be Quill, because they got to concentrate more on Quill. They're going to pass on this because they got to give us another OG Mando on a Blurg. They're going to pass on this because they've been saying we got to get the First Order Snowtrooper. They're going to pass on. I mean, what would you rather have, a First Order Snowtrooper or this? Just saying. I mean, shoot. My goodness. That would be absolutely sick. Absolutely sick. Trying to go back to that picture. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. This is a nice looking figure. Really, really nice. And then you also have to wonder, what about a complete chrome Boba Fett? Or some type of carbonized, like they do with the Black Series Boba Fett? Or how about a like ending credit scene Boba Fett design? Or how about even more strangely, like a porcelain Boba Fett like they did with the original trilogy Stormtrooper some years ago? And I think, or how about a Boba Fett from another comic book that perhaps I'm not aware of, but you're aware of? How about a Boba Fett from the animated series? When do the possibilities stop for Boba Fett? And furthermore, when do the Boba Fett figures stop selling? Very, very interesting, isn't it? Very, very interesting. Let's go ahead and get to some of your comments here on what's going on. Kind of blow this up a little bit and get to some of these. Dan S says, Kid Boba Fett with Bosk. Ooh, baby, baby. Kid Boba Fett with Bosk.
They call him the Wizard.
Yeah. Dan S says, I need a new display case for all the Mandalorians. I know, right? Absolutely. The Thor 29. The Thor, I didn't know you were in the house. Goodness gracious me. Should I fill him up on 10? Nah, I don't feel like playing that, Kip. We're only talking about Star Wars. I'll play it anyway.
This drink, I like it.
I know, it's great, right?
Another.
Pate Strick is in the house. What is going on there, Pate Strick? Aries, hope all is well, sir. Hope all is well to you, my friend. Looking forward. Pate Strick, it's been a while having you on a panel. We got to get you in here. Pate Strick has a wonderful channel, guys. You should definitely make sure you subscribe to Pate Strick. What a great, great channel. And what a great dude. Good to have you in here. Great, awesome collector. Insane One says, like and subscribe to the 6-Scale Cantina and the Dark Jedi Aries, my tapeworm. Thanks you. OG fan puts in here, I would love to upgrade my Sideshow prototype Fett to a Hot Toys version. Let me ask you, OG fan, how good is that Sideshow prototype Fett? I heard it was pretty good. But yeah, I know a lot of people, a lot of us would be jonesing for that white prototype Boba Fett. The Thor 2491 says, I'd get the white prototype Boba Fett if Hot Toys made one. But if they started making different colors, etc., I'd pass. I think a lot of people would. I think a lot of people do with the Iron Mans too. I don't know why. I think people are saying they're going to do that on Vader's, but it's still what they're going to do, right? But I agree, which is why I think the Thor. And I think I just filled you up. I think that you're going to see lower production numbers, as we were talking about yesterday. You can't keep putting it. You can't put out a high volume of this and then put out a high volume. You're oversaturated. So you got to kind of oversaturate it in a different way by putting out different variations and using the molds over and over again, just repainting it. The best way that I could tell you this, the best example is, let's say you want to go out and get a brand new Camaro, same model, same a brand new Camaro, and you're going to go ahead and paint, 1,000 of them red. That's all that they would buy red. But then you're going to go ahead and paint 1,000 of them white. That's what this is here. I don't need a red and a white one. I just need a red Camaro. I don't need a red and white one. While some people will buy both, there's going to be some people that are going to buy one or the other. So then instead of making 1,000 red Camaros, you make 500 red Camaros and you make 500 white Camaros. So I get the one that I want, the red one. You get the one, you get the white one, and you still sell as many Camaros as you needed to be able to get use out of the mold that you went ahead and spent money on to manufacture. And that doesn't include cars that you're going to go ahead and produce the next 3, 4, 5 years or whatever it is that you're going to use out of it. And this is the way of things and the way of production and the way of manufacturing. And that's why I like to point it out. But no matter how much we complain and moan and this and that, and I agree with some of the things, it's just not the way. They're not going to not do what other manufacturers do. They're just not. They're not in a position to do that. They're not going to lose money for you. They're not going to lose money for my thoughts. This is just what's going to happen, which is why it's so important to follow the trends and to understand what's probably going to be coming. And furthermore, that's another reason why I pass on some of the stormtroopers, because I know that even if I start getting into the exclusive ones, because I've got questions saying, Aries, don't you at least want the chrome-plated clone troopers? Of course I do. But I have to budget. But I have to also know they're probably going to come out with a black chrome version of those chrome troopers and some other ones. And I'm the type of collector where I just can't have one of a certain type and not have them all. I want every damn one of them. And I know they're going to do it. And honestly, they're going to do it. You just know they're going to do it. Whether you say you know they're going to do it. So I'm not going to buy it because then I know I'm going to have to invest more in the future. I really just want to be out of it. I find it very hard to believe that any of these companies are going to produce one and be done, and that's the way it is. It's very utopia. It's very Cinderella. It's very much bibbity bobbity boo, and it's not reality. So they're just going to do it. There's not a chance in hell they're not going to give you another Peter Cushing. It's too expensive. If I could find it for a deal, I will. If I can't find it for a deal, I will never, ever, ever buy that figure. Aries, I can give it to you for $450. That's above my average. I don't want to pay for it. That's a great price. You can get a Peter $425 all in, shipping, everything. Wow. Aries, you want to buy it? No. Why? Because it's above my threshold. 400 is the max if I want to do that. What am I going to do? I'm going to believe they're going to come out with another version. Well, Aries, they just don't have time. Oh, of course they have time. They're a company. They're a manufacturing company. They're in here to make money. They're going to do it. I'll wait. I'll have patience. Period. End the story. Some of the comments in here just make me laugh. Hot Toys, Thick Bantha Boy says, Hot Toys will absolutely make Boba in a variety of colors at some point. Yeah. And honestly, I don't know if I'm going to buy them all. Just like the Force said. I'm not doing that with the Troopers. I just can't. Thick Bantha Boy goes, Hot Toys needs to step in and do the white Boba Fett to show Sideshow how it's done. Well, really, I mean, when you compare the Sideshow R2-D2, right, Thick Bantha Boy, to Hot Toys R2-D2, when you're going to compare the Hot Toys C-3PO to the Sideshow C-3PO, especially with the die cast, it's going to be night and day. But I hiss you, miss in another way or another. Most of all Sideshow figures miss in one way or another. I wouldn't care so much if they weren't charging the prices that they're charging for them, Thick Bantha Boy, but I get you. Like, I feel like that they're on par. I mean, aren't those... And I'm not picking on those figures because I heard some people really like them, but I also heard a lot of people can't stand the new Obi-Wan and the Anakin animated Clone Wars figures that just came out from Sideshow for whatever reason. And I wasn't going to collect them anyway, but I was rooting for them. But it is $250, $255, and you can get the Grand Inquisitor for $260. So honestly, if you're going to spend the same money, I think Qui-Gon was what, $20 cheaper at $235. I feel like it's got to be if it's not going to be the same quality, it's got to be a cheaper price. Anyway, maybe I'm crazy. You tell me if I'm wrong. Bopping Bobas. OG fan answers me here. Sideshow prototype looks good, but like all Sideshow figures, it's a body in subpar, limited posing. Yeah, I know a lot of us when we're buying toys, we want the posing. Mecha Mesa. What about a droid Boba Fett? Well, you have to wonder, is this what they call you, Mecha Mesa?
They call him the Wizard.
1,000%. 1,000%. Just follow Black Series. Black Series has just put out in their vintage collection, I believe it's their vintage collection. Yes, 3 and 3 quarter. The Droids Boba Fett exclusive. In the exclusive vintage Droids packaging with the bubble and all that good stuff. Looks freaking sweet, baby. Looks absolutely freaking sweet. Yeah. And you have to wonder then, will Hot Toys step in with some Droids packaging? Boba Fett's. I think that they will, because they can do more with that packaging, quite frankly, than even the Boba Fett that you're talking about here, which they already have the mold for. And I'm going to try to pull something up to kind of bring it to you in a case in point And let's see if I could go ahead and grab a big image to see here on something of what that would be as these are coming up onto the screen. Yeah, I think that this would work pretty good. And I think that this would be good. Let me pull this up here for you so you could see it, my friends and ladies and gentlemen that are in here. So let me go ahead and blow this up onto the screen and kind of get my face a little bit lower there. And thank you so much for the comment on this. But when you're seeing this here, look at this. So here is the droids carded Boba Fett. And you're also seeing next to it selling a Mandalorian vintage, which is another thing we're going to get into. Which is very, very possible for Hot Toys. But not only do they have the mold for Boba Fett to put into droids packaging, like they've already done with the Empire Strikes Back, like Hot Toys has already done with the Attack of the Clones, which Hot Toys is about to do with the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi. But is it possible that they have molds for R2-D2, which also is in a regular vintage droids cartoon toy packaging? And I say yes. And do they also have another figure from the original droids cartoon from the early 80s, which is also a figure that was put out by Kenner, with a C-3PO from the droid series? And I say yes. So right there, they have a mold for C-3PO. They have a mold for R2-D2. They got a mold for Boba Fett. Bada boom, bada bing, bada ding. 3 figures right there that it's possible that they could actually put in exclusive droids packaging. And let me tell you, as a vintage collector, it'd be very, 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 very difficult for me to pass up on something like that if Hot Toys were to someday venture into it. And with the success that they're having with all of these, is it really too far out? Again, they don't gotta just concentrate on the Mandalorian. They gotta concentrate on what makes them money, which is a little bit different than Marvel and some of the things where you could go back to 1980 and put out a plethora of Star Wars stuff, and it's going to sell just as good, if not even better, than some of the other IPs with motion picture movies out at the same damn time. That's where we're at with it. Very interesting picture indeed. But that's going to get me into looking at the Mandalorian here in the vintage collection. They doing that with Grogu and stuff like that. You have to wonder, is it possible if Hot Toys, and Thick Bantha Boy says, I finished the statement, Hot Toys will absolutely make Boba in a variety of colors at some point. Totally agree, Thick Bantha Boy. But again, is it possible that Hot Toys is maybe considering at the moment taking a page out of Hasbro and maybe putting some Mandalorian figures in some vintage packaging like Hasbro is doing their own type of vintage collection because of the success of some of the stuff that they're putting in with their anniversary packaging. And I think that something could be there in one way or form. And what I mean by one way or form, not necessarily vintage packaging for vintage like this, like the vintage collection, but could be in vintage packaging like they're doing in the Black Series 6-inch line with the vintage style cards for the ending credit scene Mandalorian and stuff that they're putting out, which is very, very, very interesting, to say the least. And I'm going to go ahead and see if I can pull some of those up and see if this will come up onto the screen from Hasbro. And I think it's something that we need to kind of take a look at. And who knows if I'm going to be able to work the magic. Yeah, I think I will. I think I will be able to work the magic to pull these up. Let me get into some images and get the best one and show some of you exactly what the heck the Dark Jedi is talking about here. Yeah, here it is. Here it comes. And I'm going to pull it up onto the screen so you could see exactly what I mean. And let's see if this works. And here you go. So look, whether it's in something that's a vintage style or whether they wanted to give you a special box, which this isn't a vintage style too, you see right here, there's the Mandalorian. It's an ending credit scene Mandalorian. 6-inch figure put out from the Black Series, which is basically what Hot Toys has to do. And hear me out on this. They take the OG Mandalorian and all they do, besides believe that this would sell, change the colors to match the ending credit scenes of when Favreau and Filoni, where they play the music, da 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 da. You know how it goes. Now I can't get the song out of my head. Dun 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 dun. Anyway, and it would sell. I'd have a hard time not buying this. You talk about people buy the arena suit Boba Fett, I'd have a hard time not buying this, a Hot Toy. This looks sick. That Black Series one looks sick. I might have to get back into the Black Series more. I mean, it really does. It looks sick. I love the packaging. I love the figure. They do that in Hot Toys. Hot Toys would kill this, baby. Would kill this. Would kill. And I get it. Not a whole lot of people would buy it. Just like, for instance, like I told you, I practice what I preach and what I suggest. I didn't buy the Chrome Clone Trooper. Not that I don't want it. I just can't afford it all. There's going to be a lot of people who don't buy this. But let me tell you, you could bet your arse there'd be a lot of collectors that would buy it. They just would. I'd think about buying this one. And this is something where, let's talk about the R&D investment for Hot Toys. Let's go ahead and think about that together. All they got to do is repaint it. They already have the mold for this. And I'll be honest with you. Is it possible that they're already considering something as to what I was suggesting here? It's already magic for Hasbro. And I get it, Aries, there's too many figures, right? Which is why they're going to go ahead and make lower production on many of the runs. We talked about it last night. It's just not, it's almost an impossibility. Impossibility. From a manufacturing standpoint, from a logistics standpoint, okay? From a cost analysis standpoint, to continue to make the same amount of figures as they have been doing the last couple of years, as you can see from what is still in stock at Sideshow. Impossibility. So you have to start tempering your mind into thinking coupons will be forever, evermore. Forever and ever and ever. Amen. Because it's not going to be that way. Which is why the Armorer is still in stock and gosh, an exclusive for only $5 shipping. Are you kidding me? That's atrocious. It's atrocious. I don't care if it's Arena Fett. Of course they weren't going to make as many of that. Same thing with the Chrome Trooper we were just talking about. They don't want to give away $5 shipping next year. How do you not do it and not give away $5 shipping? You order less. But Aries, they may be dumb. Maybe they are. Can't argue that. They might be. They might not be. I have no idea. Star Killer is in the house. Woo! To the Big Dog Pound. Big Dog Pound is in here. What is going on? Let's see if I can get to some of your Skynet has been enabled. Sarah Connor, leave a like and subscribe to the Dark Jedi. I do appreciate this. I think Gentle Giants at Pate Strick did something like this. Did they really? Did they too? I didn't pay attention to that. I know they just did that awesome Vader page trick, freaking Anakin crushed, battle damage one like Hot Toys did. They did the Dark Side Ray. They do a lot of stuff the same. That's why I think the Dark Side Ray is coming for Hot Toys eventually. It's just too easy. It's too easy money. Let's get to somebody's comments in here. Page Trick says, hear me out. What if Hot Toys made 6-scale vintage style figures? 12-inch figures designed to look like Kenner figures, but with soft goods. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
They call him the Wizard.
When you speak about Gentle Giant, they've done this in some capacity. They've done this in some capacity with their jumbo collection, 6-scale figures in the card back. But they could with the soft goods, and they could in the packaging, and they could Page Strick with some of their ways involved in it. Let me go ahead and see if I can pull something up. It's a very, very good point indeed. And it's not far out there because it would blow people away. But let me tell you something. What it would do, and I would buy it. I would 1,000% as a vintage guy buy it. But there may be a lot of people in the chat that wouldn't buy it. But there were sure as heck be a lot of people that do not currently collect Hot Toys that would come in, my friend, and would 1,000% buy that for sure. And that could be a way to get other collectors to come in and actually do that. And I am trying to see if I can find one to kind of bring it up on the scene, on the screen for you. It is absolutely crazy. And see if I can find this here. And it may be on my ended stuff here. But it's a really, really good thought, to be completely honest with you. I do think it's possible that they could do stuff like that. It's hard to find some of these Gentle Giant stuff in there, but I think you know what I'm talking about. They could do it, but add the soft goods to it, put their own little twist on it. It's absolutely, absolutely plausible. For sure. Let's get to some of the other comments in here. Everyone's saying woo to the big dog pound. Good to have the big dog pound in here. Dan S. says 40th anniversary Return of the Jedi Boba and Han in Carbonite 2-pack. That's a good one.
They call him the Wizard.
The question is, Dan S., and for everybody in the chat, Dan, are you putting that out there as just to put it out there, or do you think that would sell? Because let's be honest with you. We talk about what Hot Toys is going to do. That would probably sell pretty damn good. Okay? Pretty epic. Han and Carbonite and Boba Fett. Kind of the biggest story with Boba Fett, to be honest with you. Let's just be honest. The Thor, a Jeremy Bullock head sculpt on a Hot Toy Boba would be, you bring up a great point. I don't know if Hot Toys would venture into something like that, but is it possible? I say yes, as a commemorative piece. For sure. A lot of people have asked me before, what about Anthony Daniels with a C-3PO head sculpt? Now, while he hasn't been in there with the helmet off, there has been a lot of footage of behind-the-scenes footage and Star Wars specials that have been put out by Disney that show Anthony Daniels with the C-3PO helmet off. So you have to wonder, the Thor, could they eventually start diving into stuff like that? I know for me, that would be a 1,000% coffee spilling, epic release from Hot Toys if I can get an Anthony Daniels head sculpt, I don't care if he wasn't in the movie like that. I've seen him 1,000 times in the suit without the helmet on, taking it off. It'd be freaking sick as a Star Wars fan, as a Star Wars aficionado, and collecting hot toys that mean something to me, to be able to tell a story. And even if they called it a behind-the-scenes line, like, oh, who would buy that? I would buy that. Anybody else in here would buy that? Would any of you buy a behind-the-scenes line of Hot Toys Star Wars figure? Just answer truthfully. Depending on, would you do it? Would you buy a behind-the-scenes line? Not everybody would. Not everybody buys this. Not everybody likes this ending. What is this crap? Hasbro knows that. They're not going to make as many of this as a regular Mandalorian because not everybody wants this. Just like not everybody wants a Venomized Iron Man. Do you want a Venomized Iron Man? Some of you don't. Some of you do. Well, then why do you produce it? And how do you produce it? In strategic numbers, assessing and projecting exactly what the heck we're talking about here. For sure. But how many of you would love a behind-the-scenes Star Wars line from Hot Toys? Impossible? Let me take you on a magic carpet ride. Sunday morning coffee. Got the coffee here. Already finished it up in my 6-scale Cantina mug, the official mug of the Dark Jedi. Let's assume. Let's go through this. Forget about the Andor series. Let's assume that Mandalorian Season 3 is epic. And Giancarlo Esposito and some of them are saying it blows away, man. If you haven't seen anything till you've seen 3. That's from Giancarlo Esposito, Moff Gideon. I kind of believe him. Let's assume that series is epic. Let's assume the Ahsoka, which is going to come right on top of it, is epic. Let's assume the Lando series with Donnie Glover is epic. Let's assume the Acolyte is epic. Let's assume that eventually when they put out a movie, it's actually quite good with Favreau, Filoni, and Lucas, and Deborah Chow, and everyone involved in it. How much more popular can Star Wars get? So if it starts getting to where they're starting to put out all these different Marvel type figures, remember this Marvel line that they got? Remember all the Venomized stuff and things of that nature? Is it really too far to fetch to believe, if Star Wars stays hot, that they wouldn't do a behind the scenes line? Yeah, that would be freaking amazing. And there's so many comments to get into over here. So, and speaking about Donnie Glover, here we go. Joe P with the Lando. We need an actual Star Wars release badly. Yep. They're going to be coming out. We're going to be getting into that for sure. Good to have you in here, Joe P. Insane one. I most definitely would buy a behind the scenes line. Yeah, me too. Look how good the George Lucas and Storm. Oh my God, don't get me. George Lucas and Storm Trooper disguise. I think it would sell like hotcakes. Well, I think Stan Lee. Yeah, I think George Lucas. I agree. MB Dyson says, I want the Anthony Daniels unmasked C-3PO. Oh, I sure as hell do. Come on. Must buy a 2-pack. There you go, Eric Henke. MB Dyson says, does a Star Wars collector ever have enough? And I say, no. No. That's why I can't collect Stormtroopers. I can't, dude. I can't. I can, but then it's just going to be bad. I have Stormtroopers, just in other lines. Okay? Can't do it with Hot. I just can't. I could get the ones with head sculpts. That might get too bad eventually. God, Tamora Morrison must have I just can't. But you're right. You're right. That's why I have my parameters. Crazy. Wizard. Good to see somebody's comments in here. Yeah, and the Thor goes, they're viewed as cash grabs among the diehard Black Series collectors 1,000%. They are cash grabs. Easy money. And some people love them and some people don't, but they honestly, I don't really know how to look at it any other way. That's what this arena suit Fett is. I'm going to be honest with you. It's a cash grab. I don't got a problem with it because I like the figure and I'm getting that figure, but it's okay. I want some cash grabs, baby. They want to give me a behind the scenes of Anthony Daniels. It'd be a cash grab. The Dark Side Ray would be a cash grab, but I'll take it. I'll take it. The prototype white Boba Fett's going to be a cash grab. I'll get that one. It's just so hard. It's so hard, isn't it? Mandalorian is on fire for Hot Toys. I know. Absolutely crazy indeed. Goodness gracious, some of the comments in here. Just fishing through them all. I need a producer. Who wants to be a producer for the 6-scale Cantina? At the 6-scale Cantina. Dan S., I feel the 501st for a cash. They made so many of those damn things. It's still sold out. Man, that was a cash grab. That's sold out. That's sold out, baby. That's crazy. Copper, what's going on? Good to have you in here. Good to have you in here. So again, we're going to get possibilities all based on market trends. Let's go ahead and go back to 6scalecantina.com. We've been on Fett for a while. Gosh. All right, so we covered Fett, right? We covered the chrome-plated. You got the latest breaking news on Boba Fett arena suit, Chrome Clone Trooper. Let's skip Han for a second. Let's go to it. Dun, dun, dun. Dark Side Anakin with a downtrend arrow. Regular Anakin with a downtrend arrow. Is it possible? And I say yes. Always right here at the 6-scale Cantina with all the latest news on what's going on here in the secondary market for Star Wars Hot Toys. Before we dive into this part of the news, make sure you smash and bash and clash and hit that like button, baby. Much, much appreciated. And if this is the first time you're watching this epic, data-driven, mind-stimulating show, make sure you also subscribe to the channel. All right. So it's not exactly what you think. It's not a downtrend in the bad way. It's the downtrend in a balanced way. So let's go ahead and take a look. Remember, this figure was selling. Dark Side Anakin. $1,600. Remember, this figure was selling. $1,700 new. And while it still sells new in those $1,000 ranges, between $1,200 and $1,700, sometimes even $2,000, it has calmed down, in my estimation, a bit, which is exactly what I was telling you it would most likely do in some regard. Remember, it's competing with the 2-pack Moff Tarkin and Darth Vader. Those are two figures. It is competing with Han freaking Solo and Chewbacca. Those are two figures. It is competing with not just one, but two snowtroopers from the video game, Hoth snowtroopers. It's just astronomically high. So while it's starting to balance out after the Obi-Wan series has ended, let's exactly see. This is a downtrend to where it's still higher than every damn figure by itself in the secondary market. So, but it is the data, and all I bring to you is the data and nothing but the data. But let's go ahead and take a look at what is going on with Dark Side Anakin as of right now. It can change next week. It can change here. It can change there. So let me bring you up some stuff on Dark Side Anakin and see if I can find it. Goodness gracious, there's so much here to bring up for sure. And I want to make sure that I bring up all the right stuff for you. Absolutely crazy. Let me go ahead and bring these up. Let's start bringing up some of the data and go over it. So you can see here, Dark Side Anakin. Still selling. This just sold for $900. But not including the $129 in astronomical shipping. So $1,000, which is not really a downtrend, but not 1,600. Okay, starting to see some evening out. We're selling $1,600, $1,700. That's just going to continue everything where it goes. No, you're starting to see it sell for $1,000. You're starting to see it sell for $1,100. You're starting to see it sell for $1,200. Now, what about when it's used? Used, you're going to be like, Aries, this is going up. What you're showing me here, you got to collect all the data to make the absolute assumption before you go ahead and start putting it in. And that's why I want to go ahead and show you these in here. Let me go ahead and pull this up. Okay, so here is, for instance, this is just from a few days ago, August 22nd. Used, loose, not even the shipper box or any of the stuff you need. And it's still sold $650. Let's assume the greatest best offer, $600. Gosh, doesn't even have everything. So you're like going to say, Aries, my God, used, selling for that price. It is so high. It is. Used is a little bit different than new. What I am seeing here, as this is starting to balance out, that this is by far the most sought after single Hot Toys Star Wars figure in the secondary market. And as it balances out, I'm seeing it that if you're going to go ahead and get it used, it is anywhere from $750 to $900. And if you're going to get it new, it's anywhere from $850 to $1,100. And you can go ahead and get an average of that, of where that all sets in. But that's what you're seeing here with the Dark Side Anakin. So while it is trending down, because it's where it's trending down, it's really simmering off. It's nearly balancing. It's nearly settled. Remember, it came in like a damn tidal wave, okay? And it smashed everything. There's not a chance in hell that it crashes, but it's starting to simmer down a little bit, at least what I'm seeing here the last couple of weeks. And all I do is bring you the data to bring you the facts. But yeah, dude, I mean, still pretty cool. And I don't even know, it doesn't have everything. It's missing pieces. So I know it's missing pieces. It doesn't have the base, and it's still like $600. Yeah, it's very, very high. Very, very, very high. And even when it was selling $1,600, $1,700, I never had it at that. What was it, like $1,000? Up there. But that's where I'm seeing this figure right now. Let's actually go to the market value chart at 6scalecantina.com and see where the calculations put Dark Side Anakin at the moment. And this time I will sort it out best, highest to lowest, by going to the current value column in the those arrows in the current value column at 6scalecantina.com, hitting it twice so you get the highest ranked figures to the lowest ranked figures. So as you can see, I have Dark Side Anakin right now. These are trends. They change weekly. Right now, number one is Han and Chewbacca at 1,021 and steady. Number two, Tarkin and Vader at 1,011 and rising up. Snowtroopers Battlefront at exactly $1,000 and trending up. The number four figure is Dark Side Anakin at $976 and declining. Only declining because it's not over that 1,000. Right now, kind of pulled under some of those two packs in there. But extremely, extremely high. But that is where this is when you collectively put it in brand new to used. Now, I just showed you a used one that doesn't have the base, doesn't have the box, doesn't have everything, And it still went $650 best offer accepted with the eBay fees, the taxes, and all that kind of other stuff. So very hard with the math. That is where I'm seeing it right now. So you have to wonder, is it possible that this will teeter sometimes above 1,000, sometimes in the 900s, sometimes between 800 and 900, sometimes around 700 to 900? And I say, yes, I think it will. I actually think it has since I've been doing this. Never too high like where it's been right now. But the one thing that I will tell you, you can never go back in time and erase the Obi-Wan series. That's it. The return of Hayden Christensen has begun. It's not going to end on the Obi-Wan series. He's going to be in the Ahsoka series, not for sure. He's going to be involved in Grogu's story, moving from the Jedi Temple. There's a reason why Darkside Anakin failed. He failed to kill Grogu in the Jedi Temple. His 501st troopers failed to kill Grogu. Okay? Failed. Why did he fail? Did he really fail? I don't want to get into that whole story. There's a lot of theories. Okay? But certainly the Ahsoka series is not the last, only, and final time you're going to see Hayden Christensen back in Star Wars. That's for damn sure. So, could it go back to 700 range right where it was with a trend? Yeah, sure, it could, but I don't see it now. He's way too much back in the fray. But it's very, very interesting. That's what you're seeing here. Let me go ahead and pause and let me get to some of this stuff here in the chat for sure. And it looks like P-Rock is in the house calling out the big dog pound. I don't think I did it yet today, big dog pound. But P-Rock, what's going on, brother? And make sure you all subscribe to the P-Rock Zilla. But right now, I got to go, woo! Come on. Champion Mediocrity, another Cantina insider. Thank you so much for your support. Says, geez, I have Darkside Anakin. I have him displayed, but I still have the box and all the pieces. For 600, I should try to sell. I mean, I don't know. It's a little bit ridiculous to me that actually sold. I mean, just ridiculous price-wise. Not that it's ridiculous. It's fine. I just, 600 without the base, without some of the pieces, without... and maybe the best offer was fine. I mean, it doesn't look like that with all that positive feedback that he has, and you got the eBay fees. But I mean, gosh, it's so much money. But again, I'm not seeing it the last several weeks. 1,600, 1,700. I'm not seeing that. Am I seeing 1,000? Yes, just showed you it. 1,100, 1,200. Yes. Am I seeing it used without a box? 600, 650, like we're pointing out there. Yes. Am I seeing it? Used like Lane, who's in the chat, who sold it not too long ago for $810. Sure. New, more than that, yes. But that's where I'm seeing it. Market value chart trending down, more steady. Steady is what's happening. It's leveling off, raised up, leveled down a little bit. Seeing it at 9. Where does it stop? Somewhere, it's going to be somewhere around 800 to 1,000. I think it will teeter back and forth. Keep putting your comments in there. The Doc Smizzle's in the house too. Doc, who's recently been on a show. Doc is going to be on with us tomorrow in Monday Night Raw. Don't forget about that. Tomorrow, Monday Night Raw. You don't want to miss that. We've got a full panel in the house tomorrow. Gosh, you don't want to miss that. I think we keep getting more and more in there. We've got Doc in the house. We got Desi Metamorphic Customs. We got Brother Cousins in the house. We've got me in the house. We got so much coming in. Goodness gracious. Love getting back to all the panels, but good to have Doc in here. Night of Ren says, I paid $620 for mine a year or so ago. I paid $400 for mine a year ago. Yes, I got a really good deal. $400 all in with shipping. $400. A Darkside Anakin. Yes. That's my limit. Okay, I'm not going to go for $450. I was talking about that later. Aries, I give you a Moff Tarkin for $450. Oh, I can't do it. I'm going to wait for another one. I can't do it. It's too high. If it came with gold, I may consider. So reach out to me if it comes with some gold. Come on. Papa Skirkmo says, what Anakin Darkside recently sold for 1,700 with 100 U? Yeah, absolutely. No, it still does. It still does. So that's why I pointed out and said that, Papas, that I'm still seeing it sell sometimes for 16, 17. I'm seeing it a lot of times sell for 1,000, 1,100, 1,200. I'm seeing it's used sell for like what Lane sold it for, 800, around that area. When you put all the data in, I'm showing it at 9s. It'll be flowing. So it may next week be 976. It may be 1,006 and raising up. It could go more. It could be 876 and going down. It's always going to be around there. But what I do, Papas Gurkmos, is try and give you, I spent a lot of time with it. The data of what I'm seeing now is kind of all kind of thrown in there. This is the average of what you can get. And always just putting in what it is on the open market. Never putting in like the guilds, Facebook groups, stuff like that. Gosh, I've been able to find, like I said yesterday on the show, which was an epic show, I was able to get a vinyl Cape Jawa from a guild group. And, I drove, quite a few hours, $1,750 was able to get it for. But it's those are not opens. Those are not a whole lot of people know the open market with that. It's not it's not what any comic shop in the regular market that's going to sell it for sure. Anyway, good stuff. Dan S says, I don't want to sound super negative, but I was very disappointed with 501st Paint apps and the weapon molding. No, that's not negative. That's just your opinion on that. Sometimes, you're not going to like some of the, I was disappointed as well with the armor, to be honest with you. I've been a little vocal about it with the Phillips head screws on the bottom of her boots. I think that, constructive criticism with stuff like that. I've been on Hot Toys the last week about the atrocious pictures. And I get it. They were trying to pose the that cable a certain way, and it just made it. I don't know. I just feel like that sometimes, but it's good. I mean, but no, you're doing that very respectfully, and that is absolutely cool. Link, hello everyone. What is going on? Martin K, do you think the release of the new Clone Wars Anakin has affected the price of the others? Yes, in the uptrend. So here's the thing. Again, as I'm pointing out, that these are trending down, they're more like leveling off. This is way up. 900. I mean, like what I'm showing you here, but you just saw Papa Skirkmos pointed. He just saw one sell for $1,600. They are. And if you're selling them new, sometimes that, but at $1,000, $1,100, and you sell them used at $800, and we just saw one without a box and without the base and missing pieces go for like a presumed $600. It's a very highly sought after figure. So the market price is going to change every several weeks. It'll teeter like that. But if the Clone Wars Anakin, it's a great price, Martin K, affected it. The Clone Wars Anakin would have dropped this figure severely down, like the Shore Trooper went down, like the K2SO went down. You could get the K2SO right now in the low 400s. That's the market trend. That's a high price. Don't get me wrong. You want to go get a K2SO right now from Rogue One, it's going to cost you about $410, $420, not including shipping, not including taxes. So you're going to spend about $450, $460. You're going to spend a little bit more for the Rogue One Vader. You're going to pay about $500 for that right now. Okay. Which is very, very high. That's a high. That's above my threshold, $400 to buy. I'm going to wait for a reissue or a 2.0. Unless I can get it for $400 or I can find some type of deal, which you could find. But that's not the open market, is what I'm trying to say. That being said, if that affected it in a negative way, in my view, Martin K, that's where the dark side Anakin would be. So it hasn't in any shape or form. I think the very first time it was announced, the Clone Wars Anakin, if I remember correctly, for the first month, for the first 3 or 4 weeks, it affected it a little bit, but then it didn't. And even while it came out, and that Clone Wars Anakin is selling very, very well. And that will sell out. And that will be, I believe, where these other Anakins are in time as it simmers through the years. But it's actually made it higher. What is that effect? It's a very interesting effect. in the secondary market. For a case in point, the Mandalorian Death Trooper, which is awesome, actually had the adverse effect from the Rogue One Death Troopers. It actually made the Rogue One Death Troopers go higher. And you can get the Mandalorian Death Trooper at a very, very reasonable price in the secondary market. You can get it at retail, I still believe now. Unlike the Remnant Trooper, which is starting to go up in price, and some of those other troopers, that one's still relatively there. I'll have to take a look at it. I'm going to have to dive into that one. I haven't the last few weeks in a very hard basis. So much that I do. But it actually has the adverse effect. You try and go get a deluxe Rogue One specialist from Rogue One Death Trooper, you're going to pay $500-$600 for that. It had the adverse effect. Same thing happened here with Darkside Anakin. And we're going to get into regular Anakin as well. While that is leveling off, as these are leveling off and will teeter, the Obi-Wan series and the Clone Wars Anakin is actually, it's brought it to another level. It was here, then it went here, but now it's going to level off here. So it'll always be now, because of the Obi-Wan series, higher than where it was. And it goes up here, but now it will level off and teeter around here. It has reached, in other words, another level. I put it in as trending down because it's up, then it comes down a little bit, up and down. Like I said, it's going to be somewhere around that $800 to $1,100 range for a while. But no, it had no effect in my view, to be honest with you. If anything, it actually turbo boosted it, which is very interesting. Whereas the KX Enforcer droid had the adverse effects on K2SO and has made that one go down. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. It's very, very interesting for sure. Keep your comments coming. If I do miss some of the comments in there, please don't get mad at the Dark Jedi. I am just a one-person show here. Maybe if you had a comment like, oh, I wish you would have answered it, just put it in again. Copy and paste and ask me again. So I could see it. There's just so many in here. And I do appreciate that understanding for sure. So if you were in here and you're like, oh, I wish you would have answered it, just copy and paste it, ask again. And you may have to do it 3 or 4 times. But there's a lot that I'm doing to make this show go. For sure. Axel G in the house says, will there be another Emperor? Oh, gosh. Well, we haven't gotten the Revenge of the Sith Emperor. And in a few years, it's going to be the 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith. So I think, my friend, you need me to fill up table 66, right? Good. I think a lot of people, including myself, are really looking forward for a Revenge of the Sith. Can you imagine putting this Emperor with your dark side Anakin that you have right now? There is not a chance in the world I wouldn't sometimes pose it in my DTOF with that. So to answer your question, and Mace is going to be coming out. I know you'd love to do this. No. Oh, man. You talk about the photos on Instagram, on the social media, some of the things that some of the people are really good at that. I'm not that good at it. I'm really good at museum poses, though. I'll have to start a show doing that. Museum pose awards. Who wants me to awards to do that? I don't know. I'm thinking I'm the best. Let me button up my tie. Wait, I don't got a tie on. Anyway, yeah, they're going to definitely put out an Emperor. They're going to. It'll go with the Mace. They're teasing. Goes with the dark side Anakin. We're going to be getting into here. Is it possible that we get some type of Darth Vader without the suit on, which is dark side Anakin? I think it's inevitable, right? We're talking about data-driven possibilities. Plus, how many times did we see dark side Anakin in the Obi-Wan series? How many times did you see the KX Enforcer droid in the Book of Boba Fett? Let me ask you that. Not too many. I think just one time in one flashback, a fleeting glimpse. They reused that mold to capitalize on a figure that is very, very high in the secondary market, K2SO. That was around $600, which is now in the low 400s, which is still very high. But that's what Hot Toys is going to do. It's just inevitable. The question is how they're going to do it and how many times are they going to do it? Because obviously there's a huge demand for a dark side Anakin, which is what we're talking about here. Again, a slight trend down in the secondary market. You're seeing right here, according to the market value chart, that the dark side Anakin is now number 4, 976 and trending down. But we'll see exactly. I think it'll go back over 1,000, sometimes around 900. We'll see. But I think that Hot Toys is seeing that there's a demand. I think we got to get rid of the term dark side Anakin. I really, really do, because this is not dark side Anakin.
You underestimate my power!
This is Darth Vader. That's Darth Vader, what I just flashed on the screen. And I think with that figure, people are realizing, hey, that's Darth Vader. And a lot of Star Wars collectors, including me, would like Darth Vader as a pivotal point in their collection. There may be some Star Wars fans who don't need Darth Vader in their Star Wars collection, and I get that. I do know some that just don't like Darth Vader, and like, I don't want Darth Vader, I just want Mandalorian. I don't want Darth Vader in anything. I like the original trilogy, but I just want the good guys and the good girls. Okay, I understand. There's going to be people who don't think Darth Vader is that important for them for Star Wars. But I will tell you that probably a bigger majority need Darth Vader as a pivotal point to show off in their collection, because that's just how they feel. And make no mistake about it, this is Darth Vader.
The Force is strong in its way.
But he also looks like this.
You underestimate my power!
So, I firmly believe, even if he never showed up in the Obi-Wan series, that they were still going to capitalize on this dark side mold. Not only once, but probably several times. Because it's just too important for some Star Wars fans to have the story of Darth Vader. That's really what it is. When you guys have your collection in your DTOFs, or your Maju cases, or your Curios, or however it is that you go ahead and you showcase your Star Wars figures, you a lot of times tell a story. I see all the pictures on Instagram and different people tagging me on what they do on their poses and stuff like that. You're telling a story as you're playing with your 6-scale action figures. When you have this particular character, you're able to tell a story about Star Wars that was a pivotal turning point in Star Wars.
You underestimate my power!
And to have a figure of this magnitude in the secondary market, whether it teeters below 1,000 and trends down, or gets to 800, and then it teeters back up to 900 or 1,000, or it teeters back down, it goes back and forth like this. At the end of the day, it's a highly, 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 highly sought out after figure, in my estimation here, according to 6scalecantina.com and the market value chart, the most coveted and sought after single piece in Hot Toys for Star Wars. And I think it's because it is Darth Vader. So I don't see any scenario where Hot Toys doesn't do this before the 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith. No scenario. As a matter of fact, I think it's going to happen several times, is really my point here. To kind of feed that desire in the secondary market, which obviously people are having for this figure. However, someone brought up a good point, and I wonder if it's P-Rock in here on the show, or perhaps it was Doc Smizzle or somebody who was in here recently. And if I got it wrong, whoever it was in there, that perhaps they don't put it out with the red eyes and they keep that with this version. Possible. It's still Darth Vader. He doesn't have red eyes here, but this is Darth Vader.
You underestimate my power!
Or they could keep the red eyes in and change the hair. There's so much they can do. But as I classically say, let's play with our figures. Is it possible that Hot Toys puts out another dark side Anakin? And I say yes. What do you think? Let's go to the comments here and let's talk about it. Insane one goes, Knight of Ren, preach, must get all Vaders. OG fan, kind of taking your line there, but your line is becoming very, very popular, for sure. Come on. And putting this up. Gosh, there's so many comments. I got a lot of woos. Woo! Come on. 2025. Yes, that is the anniversary of Revenge of the Sith. You're certainly going to get something there for sure. That's absolutely, absolutely crazy. Okay, so let's go back to the bigger screen and make sure you hit the like button with 60 in here, watching this here on a fine Sunday afternoon. And I do appreciate you doing that. Let's smash the like button right now. Let's get the algorithm going here. What about the other Anakin? Let's go back to the biggest mover section. And again, if you're just tuning in, this is the current show, current market trends and data-driven possibilities. It's the Market Chart Show, Sunday Coffee Edition. And you can see the little tagline under the logo. And I say, yes, man, we're having some fun. Regular Anakin, where are you? There it is. Also on an arrow trending down, as you could see here. But it's going to be the same story as to what I was talking about, the dark side Anakin. Leveling out in some capacity, but not leveling out to where it once was by any stretch of the imagination, but trending down nonetheless as the Obi-Wan series comes to its close as it is here. But let's get into some regular Anakin data here for sure and pull some of these up onto the screen. So I'm just going to pull up. Let's see this first. Let's pull this piece of data up first and see what this is here. So, okay. Obviously still selling. You know, you can see here 3 sold, $680, 2 available. This is new. Pretty good. 76 watchers. But again, here, with it being new, not including the $120 in shipping. So $780, and not including taxes, $800. It's going to cost you new for this figure anywhere around $750 to $950. Sometimes I'm seeing the regular Anakin. I kid you not. You let me know what you're seeing in the chat. Sell brand new $900, sometimes over $1,000 just for the regular Anakin. But remember, this was steamrolling like freaking crazy, for sure. So it's never going to go back, in my view, to the $400 where it was before the Obi-Wan series. But again, very high. Let's go into some more. Let's actually pull up everything right now that we can see on here on Anakin regular here at 6 scale Cantina. So, okay, 680, 76 watchers. We're looking with that. You got one here for $600, not including another 130 in shipping. Gosh, these shipping prices, goodness gracious. There's $700 used, no base. Wow. I mean, no box, whatever the heck. Okay. $700 used, pre-owned. Okay. New is going to go higher. You're seeing these prices in here. High, 940, 823 watchers. Gosh, you got to be kidding me. All right, let's actually go to 6scalecantina.com and see exactly where the regular Anakin is sitting within the market chart here, the Star Wars market value chart. And I could sort it out highest to lowest, but I think I'm just going to plug it in and put in Anakin and see what comes out over here while I got you all live. And there's your regular Anakin. I'm seeing it at, with all the calculations, used, new, brand new, MMS 437, $642 and trending down. Again, not trending down the $442, $475. No. But not at the used and new at, $700, $800, $900. You're getting it selling there for that. But that's where I'm seeing it here. And I think it's going to be the same story as those ebbs and flows go. And I know a lot of you are going to say, hey, that should be more 700, more 750. I get it. That's where I'm seeing it right now, at around there. Could it go a little lower? Yeah. Could it go a little higher? Probably. Is it going to teeter like the regular Anakin? Yes. Has the Clone Wars Anakin affected this at all? Zero. Zero. I'm going to bring that up again. Zero effect. It's only made it go higher, much like those Death Trooper did with Mandalorian. That's the reality of what we're looking at here. Cheers. Sunday morning with this Anakin. But remember, I told you guys a week and a half ago that I was going to be coming up with a show where I was going to share with you the thoughts of, hey, are these going to continually sell $1,600, $1,700, $1,200, regular Anakin $1,000? I said I had some thoughts on that. And while I think it's possible it could get there as time goes on, I thought it was going to balance out like this, where I think it's more possible what you're going to see here is it is far too high in demand. You talk about them putting out another version of K2SO with the KX Enforcer droid. The regular Anakin here is higher than the K2SO ever was. And they put out the KX Enforcer droid. So with the regular Anakin, he still looks like regular Anakin. He looks like regular Anakin here as we go ahead and fill up. Gosh, I haven't filled up this table in a long time. Table 7. Here's
this is where the fun begins.
Okay, but also, this is also looks like regular Anakin, just without that glowing eye.
You underestimate my power!
It's Hayden Christensen before he gets burned.
This is where the fun begins.
Here he is again.
You underestimate my power!
And what the Obi-Wan series did is it opened up so many doors for Hot Toys to go ahead and make decisions on what they can do if they're going to 2.0 the Anakin Skywalker from the Revenge of the Sith. Forget about the dark side Anakin, which I think we all kind of know. We're going to get that in some type of shape, form, or capacity. Okay? And there's been thoughts before and a lot of great conversation is, hey, they could go ahead and give you one set with 2 head sculpts like they did with the awesome Endor Luke Skywalker, which is just so high right now in the secondary market. My God. They can do the same thing with an Anakin from Revenge of the Sith, tie it into the Obi-Wan series and give you 2 or 3 different head sculpts. Goodness gracious. There's so many ways that they could skin this cat. There's so many ways that Hot Toys could make this happen. The thing that you have to ask yourself is it possible that it even will happen? And the Hot Toys wizard says, yes. Remember, I gave you breaking news all the way back this past December that from the lips of Hayden Christensen himself, that he said that there were several Hot Toys Star Wars figures that were in development that were eventually going to be coming out with his likeness. So you have to wonder, is something from the Obi-Wan series mixed in with the Revenge of the Sith on the horizon with this actor back with Disney? That's what you have to ask yourself. And when you look at the data within the secondary market, you go ahead and are able to make logical, while fun possibilities, aren't you? And data is so important. Again, I was bringing up much earlier in the show. Rewatch it if you didn't. Why do some people hesitate when someone has 18 feedback, even though it's 100% positive, to buy an $800 2-pack? Because you want a little more data. If they had 1,800 feedback, I feel a little bit more comfortable paying $800 or $1,000 for this 2-pack. But if they have 18 feedback, or 12 feedback, or 9 feedback, that's not a whole lot of data. That's not a whole lot of reassurance. Thus, always the importance of data, no matter how you slice it. But of course, if you like Pink Floyd and you love Roger Waters like I do, and you want to listen to Radio KAOS, who needs information? when you're working underground. Just give me confirmation. Love Roger. Very logical. Very awesome. Love his stuff. Who needs information? Anyway, I'm definitely going to listen to that later. Insane One. Data is king. Martin K. They could release an Attack of the Clones looking Anakin under the Kenobi label because of the flashback scenes. They could. They could. They released a KX Enforcer droid, Martin K., because of the very, very small flashback scene from the Book of Boba Fett. So you're 100% right. And again, it's a mold that they already have use for, and they certainly would like to make more mileage off of. Albeit it didn't sell during the dark times, during those times of The Last Jedi when Star Wars fandom was divided. But that time has passed. It is now the time of The Mandalorian. It is now the time of Grogu as I fill up table 5 with Popsic and table 808 with the 808 Michigan Jedi. It is so important to realize that. The game has changed for Star Wars Hot Toys. For sure. Knight of Ren says, Padawan Anakin head sculpt. Oh, you bet your ass. Dan S. says, if they done 2 Bespin Lukes, I don't see why they won't do another Dark Side Anakin. Well, it's the story of Star Wars. I mean, that's the whole story of Luke. How did Darth Vader become Darth Vader? And then actually, if you watch Revenge of the Sith, it's a tragic story. The coffee spilling nonetheless. It's not a figure where it's like, who cares? It's not a figure. It's like, yeah. It's Anakin. It's Luke's dad. It's Dark Side Anakin. It's tragic what happened to him on Mustafar. Look what it did to Obi-Wan Kenobi. Look what he had to live with. And that's what I thought was one of the awesome things about the Obi-Wan series. I absolutely loved it and thought it was one of the best pieces of Star Wars I ever seen. But that's just me. I'm going to like anything Star Wars. I love the holiday special too. I love the Phantom Menace too. One of my favorite movies ever. I know how many people hated that. Oh, I can't stand the pod race. And oh, Jar Jar Binks stinks. I hated having to have to deal with that. But at the end of the day, one of the best movies, in my opinion, ever. I love the freaking Phantom Menace. That's just my view. Love it. But anyway, and that's what I thought about the Obi-Wan series, especially seeing Obi-Wan's grief. But I especially loved how he overcame it, and he's still alive. Anyway, Knight of Ren also says, I need Darth Vader. He's by far my favorite character. I must have the Rogue One Vader. Oh, man, do I have news on that? Do I have news on that? Do I've got news on that? Insane One says, don't take your likes with you. Leave it here and take a subscription while you're it. Subscribe to the 6 Scale Cantina. If you haven't, my tapeworm thanks you. A lot goes into this, man, and I do appreciate that. But it's all real here, baby. Everything I'm giving you. That's what I think is going to happen with there. But you're talking about Rogue One Vader. Let's actually go ahead and go to it. Let's go ahead and expand it up. And let's go back to the biggest movers section here at 6scalecantina.com. And listen, if you like what you're watching here today, and you want some even heightened thoughts and expanded analysis on how I put all of this together and how I come up with my predictions that are 9 times out of 10 accurate. All the Hot Toys Wizard ones have come true, actually. I separate him out from me. You may want to consider joining the channel. You can go right here. Look at this awesome show from last week, Hot Toys versus the World. A great show. You can see Dark Sisters, my Boba Fett 2-pack. I could tell you right now, my pleather cracking and climate control tips. You see my Jango Fett unboxing. which is really, really, really crazy. And is it possible that I have my Luke 40th unboxing done? I just got to go ahead and insert the double screen video views for it. But yeah, and then also look at this show here, Crazy Unboxing Live, sure at Imwe, and the beginning of Grails. I talk about a lot of stuff, very mind-blowing stuff, always data-driven, always a lot of hours of work, always a lot of fun. If you love Star Wars and you love Star Wars Hot Toys, you just may want to consider joining. Don't worry about any tiered pricings. Once you come in, it's all the same price. I do appreciate your support, and you can come on in and become a Cantina Insider. Anyway, let's continue on with the show, and let's actually go to Darth Vader Rogue One. Look at this up here on the screen. Trending up alongside the Rey and Dio. Let's actually go to the Rogue One Vader and pull up some of the stuff on Rogue One Vader. And I can pull up some of that data too on the K2SO. But you could say here, just from like what, 10 days ago or last week, Rogue One Vader used $450, not including the $20 in shipping. That's $470, not including taxes. Over $500 for this Rogue One Darth Vader. Are you kidding me? Wow. A great, great seller. 1,710 feedback. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Over $500 for a used Rogue One Vader. Absolutely looking pretty epic, too. Look at that. Look at that helmet. Look at that sleekness. Look at that bodysuit. And look at the Rogue One Vader. Let's spill our coffee as we're looking at the Dark Lord of the Sith, baby. Woo! Come on. Yeah. Wow. $450 for that particular Darth Vader. Let's go to another one back from August 18th. That one was. Let's look here. Back from August 10th. $455, not including the $1843 in shipping, not including taxes, 21 bids, seller over 114 feedback, all 100% positive, used, but still very, very sweet. Wow. And listen, you could get, people are asking me, hey, is this going to have any effect, this Anakin, this battle damage DX whatever Anakin, Darth Vader, excuse me, with the Hayden Christensen head sculpt? Well, apparently it's not. Apparently it's not. I'm sure the 21 bidders in here knew that this came out. Knew by now that that's out. Again, that's not the same Darth Vader. Could you be satisfied with just the Mark 7 and not need the Mark 1? What about the Mark 2? Are you good with just the Mark 2? I mean, some people are going to want, here's something you have to get through your head as you argue and contemplate if they're going to come out with certain these things. Is Darth Vader a popular character like Iron Man in Star Wars, as Iron Man is to Marvel? I say yes. I guess you could debate it and say he's not a popular character. Okay. I think he is, like Iron Man is. So then, they come out with a lot of versions of Iron Man. And quite frankly, to me, a lot of them look the same. Just like you may say, well, a lot of them look the same for Darth Vader, which is not the truth. Looks different in every movie. And if Darth Vader is just as important to Star Wars as Iron Man is to Marvel, then you have to wonder, is it possible that Hot Toys will be coming out with more reiterations and iterations of Darth Vader? And I say yes. And here's the evidence right here. And maybe these people are like, I can't stand the Darth Vader from the from the Obi-Wan series, and I'm not even touching that battle damage Darth Vader. And there's probably some that aren't. I know I am. A lot of figuring this stuff out is easy. It's 1 + 1 = 2, if you want to look at it that way. But yes, and let's actually go to the market value chart here at 6scalecantina.com and actually see where the Rogue One Vader is on the market value chart right now. And all you got to do, besides believe, is go to the market value chart here at 6scalecantina.com. You can just type in Vader and all the Vaders will come up actually in that little search box. And Rogue One Vader, wow, MMS 388, $432 and trending up. Wow, that's pretty high for a Rogue One Darth Vader. So you have to wonder, as we're looking at data in the secondary market, as we're looking at data in the primary market, that DX freaking 28 Darth Vader is still, it's still number one, baby. Still number one, best-selling wise, when you sort it out on Sideshow for everything. So if you put in this data and you put in that data and you start equating it to Iron Man, you have to wonder, is it possible that Hot Toys are going to come out with more iterations of Darth Vader that could even more possibly be up for pre-order at the same time? And I say, yes. That's why you subscribe to me, baby. That's why you watch this channel, because you get to spill your coffee with the Dark Jedi here. I think it's going to happen. I think there's a lot going on there for Darth Vader and the Dark Lord of the Sith. For sure. Knight of Ren goes, must have all Vaders. Yes, yes, yes. You must have it. Must have it for sure. Knight of Ren says, Rogue One Vader is one of my most prized figures. Wow. That is really, really cool. Insane One also says, I've come here to chew bubblegum and to leave a like, subscribe if you haven't. I'm all out of bubblegum. Well, if you're out of bubblegum, I've got all the coffee, baby. All the coffee for sure. Thank you so much there for the promotion. Martin K says they could release an Attack of the Clones looking Anakin under the Kenobi label because of the flashback scenes. Yeah, they could. They absolutely, unequivocally could, for sure. Absolutely crazy. Did I mention I'm going to be live tomorrow night with Monday Night Raw and the full panel? Make sure that you get ready for that, baby. Make sure you do. And so, like, there's so many trends and stuff to get into here and show. Look at the, we went over the Boba Fett Arena Suit Fett Han Solo Stormtrooper. Let's take a look at that. You talk about, hey, can they concentrate on a movie from 1977? We talk about not being able to concentrate on a movie 4 or 5 years ago like Cable. Yeah, look at that DX25. Absolutely go ahead and take a look at that. Let's see if I can pull some of this up over here. It is absolutely mind-blowing for the freaking Han Solo. Gosh. So high. So high this figure is. Here we go. $850. $850. August 14th sold. $850. Wow. Wow. Gotta have some coffee with that. $850. Brand new. Brand new. Not including $30 in shipping. That puts it at $880. Taxes well over $900. Great seller. 132 feedback. All 100% positive. And this kind of price being honest with you, it kind of makes me, as I'm drinking it, spill my coffee. Han Solo is going to continually and continually and continually be a very, very highly sought after figure for Star Wars Hot Toys. So you have to wonder, when we talk about seeing what's happening with Han Solo in the secondary market for Star Wars and Hot Toys, and you start calculating that in with data on what happened from April 13th with the DX25 Bespin Luke, and it being number one for all that time, for 5 weeks in the middle of the multiverse of madness, on the cusp of No Way Home, in the middle of the Moon Knight series, it does make you wonder, does it really pay for Hot Toys to put out a Han Solo? Is the Han Solo figure something that people are interested in? Is a Han Solo figure, that was teased here, along with this picture that's up on the screen, that was teased here, that seems like a long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away. Does it even pay for Hot Toys to put it out? Again, when you use data and you use what Hot Toys has been doing, you can kind of come to an assumption that they're probably going to come out with the Han Solo. So, but you could also look at Hoth Han Solo. Yes, a very, very easy figure to make, and one of the most highly sought after ones on the Sideshow brand. And as I fill up table 44, baby, I'm telling you, both of these characters are coming.
Right, I'll see you shortly. There's a meteorite that hit the ground near here. I want to check it out. It won't take long.
As far as when, who really knows? Could be tomorrow. Could be tonight. Could be next year. Could be in 4 years. But absolutely, they're going to do it. Because it's just where the money was made before in the 6-scale community. Always where the money was made before in the Star Wars collecting realm for their toys. In the midst of one of the greatest movies, not only in Star Wars, but in anything of all time, The Empire Strikes Back, it is 1,000% going to come a Hoth Han. And speaking specifically of these right here, again, when you look at this picture, as I told you in the beginning of the show, if you know anything about licenses, when it comes to manufacturing and the legal jargon, you can't just go up and suggest in any way that you're going to go ahead and put something like this out for a likeness of something that is not already approved, not only from the actor, but from that entity. Just being honest with you, from Disney. It was already done. Again, as I told you in the middle of the show, as we put all this data together, there's only one reason why this did not come out.
Fulfill your destiny.
It was already teased. It was 1,000% already teased. As this. Why did they put this in? Because like the Han Solo Bespin, the figure's already done. Head sculpt's there, lightsabers there, outfits there. This figure is 1,000% done. They didn't just wise up. You can't just put out a Han Solo and a Mace Windu like this and tease that it's going to come out with the likeness of Star Wars, with that license, if you don't already got it approved to go out. Because it's just not how it works. Especially with Hot Toys and anything Disney. It's not how it works. It's already done. Okay? The question is when they're going to put it out. Now that The Last Jedi is over, now there's not a chance in hell that any movie, at least at this point, is going to come out domestically for Star Wars and it's not going to gross $300,000. Those times are over. It's time to come out with these figures. When they tease them like this, They are absolutely 1000% eventually going to put them out, just like they teased Riva. But they're not the face here. It doesn't matter. It's coming out. They put it in here. 1000%. The Bespin Han is coming. Now, if you're asking me if it's going to have a different head sculpt from the 2 head sculpts we got already, I say no. I think they're going to use the same ones. They're going to be repainted. I think it'll look really good. I don't think it's a brand new one. Sure, it's possible that from the Indiana Jones they could be doing that, but I think they already have one made. I think you get a new Han Solo head sculpt with the 50th anniversary of Star Wars, which quite honestly they're probably already working on now, when that comes out in 2027. But yes, these are going to be coming out when they tease them. You're going to get Mace. You're going to go ahead and get your Bespin Han, who was quite frankly teased twice in here. For sure. 1000% figure already done coming. And quite honestly, the first Bespin Luke that was teased was before this was. So that came out April 13th. So if you're wondering about timing, the timing is starting to come now. And when you go ahead and look at the secondary market, with all the original trilogy figures trending the way they are, you look at Moff Tarkin and the Vader 2-pack. You look at the Han Solo and Chewbacca 2-pack. You look at Han Solo, like the Stormtrooper disguise one I just put up recently. And you look at the data. Does it even pay for Hot Toys to put this Bespin Han out? Yes. Look at the Bespin Luke and how good that did. I don't care if they came out with Endgame Part 2 tomorrow. The Bespin Han will probably still be number 1 for 5 weeks, like the Bespin Luke was for 5 weeks. So again, you have to wonder when you're looking at stuff like this Padme. Again, it didn't come out because of the controversy with The Last Jedi, and they weren't going to put it out at that time. But this is coming. It's not that she's not an important character. I mean, she's a very important character. Look, you want to talk about just female figures. She's even more important than Casca Reeves. She's more important than Fennec Shand. She's more important than Reva. She's the star of the prequel trilogy. So by far, they're going to come out with her, especially when they're coming out with these other characters, for sure. So it's not a question of if. It's a question of when. And when I use when, it could not have come out during the stuff with The Last Jedi. And when you look at the market trends and you see everything that I show you with Princess Leia and Rey in the secondary market, is it possible that Hot Toys realizes that Padme being the star of her trilogy, while Rey is the star of her trilogy, and Leia is the star of her trilogy, that it's probably going to sell in the same way? And I say, yes. Again, it's data. Putting it together with facts, putting it together with trends, and Hot Toys also can put together that The Last Jedi is obviously over from the results of The Mandalorian and everything else, as you could see. Which is the same reason why you're going to get this figure. You wouldn't even go see a Han Solo movie and gross over $300,000. And all respect to Kit Fisto. If you weren't going to go see a movie about Han Solo, you sure as crap were not going to go ahead and buy a Kit Fisto at that time, which is the only reason why it didn't come out. Don't think for a second, in the limited quantities that this would come out in, that this would not sell. If you thought Arena Fett sold, you've seen nothing until you see any Jedi come around for Star Wars at this point. Again, that's what's going to happen there. Same thing with this. No one's going to buy this freaking thing during The Last Jedi. Who's going to buy a super battle droid during The Last Jedi? You wouldn't even buy an Emperor on a. But is this going to come out now? Yes. And are they allowed to show this? Yes, because they already have the approval. Oh, wait a minute, but they don't need approval to show this, right? Yeah, they do. It's a license. It's legal. They can't be suggestive about it. Whether it's here, okay? Whether it's here or whether it's here, this is the reality of production and manufacturing and licensing throughout the world. Period. This is going to come. They're not taking a break from the Clone Wars. You're going to get your Asajj Ventress. Yeah, I said it. You're going to. You're going to get your Savage Oppress. Yeah, I said it. I mean, why not? You sell all the Darth Mauls. You're a Clone Wars fan? You're not going to buy Savage? That's coming. This is coming. Again, look at Obi-Wan in the secondary market. But you have to calculate in with this. And could this be something that actually comes out at New York Comic Con? Could it be? I say yes, it can be. It absolutely can be. I think this is one of your next Clone Wars releases that are going to come. I mean, announcements. To be quite honest with you. What about this one? I know this is one of Single Sword Rider's favorites. Baze Malbus. Again, you got to look at trends. They've already come out with a couple of Rogue One figures. You got the Andor series coming in. There'll be some hype with that. But again, even if they put this out in limited quantities like they did Neo, Keanu Reeves, for the latest Matrix movie, which quite frankly, a lot of people didn't like and hardly nobody saw. I loved it, though. I thought it was a great film. If they could come out with that in limited quantities, say what you want about Baze Malbus, whether he's important or not important, or whether he's relevant or not relevant. Honestly, I think all of these characters, when it comes to Star Wars, they're all relevant, to be completely honest with you. And especially him. So again, what they've been showing with a lot of these convention exclusives is they don't necessarily have to come out with a large quantities. Well, Aries, that's just the exclusives. Well, they still have R&D work to put into that. That's what you're not getting. It still costs them money. I don't care what exclusive it is. Sideshow Con, New York Comic Con, San Diego Comic Con, Summer Showcase Con, Tatooine Con, Coruscant Con, Geonosis Con, Caprica Con, whatever freaking con you want to call it, they still got to go ahead and invest in it. They'll do it in regular production. They absolutely will, 1,000%. It's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. If it works one way, they'll use it another way. So say whatever you want about Baze, and I think he's phenomenal. And I think he's a pivotal character. They're going to come out with him. Again, they didn't come out with him because of that time. One of the most memorable, I mean, it was very heartbreaking to watch him die in Rogue One. Him and Chewie, as they were marching towards the end, that whole crew. And people are going to get very, very interested in revisiting Rogue One. Already that's happening right now because of the Andor series that's coming up. So again, you have to wonder, is it possible that now is the time to release this figure? And I say yes. And when I say time, that doesn't mean like this month. It could be next year, next couple years, next few years. Now is the time. It is sure as heck a way better time than during the time of after The Last Jedi. What about this? This is a great example. I love this one. You mean to tell me this wouldn't sell now? Why didn't they put that out then? Wasn't a licensing issue. Or they wouldn't have showed it. It wasn't the right time. They weren't confident it was going to sell. They absolutely could have. I'm going to be honest with you. And they absolutely could have. Hot Toys put out as many sequel trilogy figures as Disney would allow them. They could have. They could have put them all out. They could have gave you a Vice Admiral Holdo. They could have gave you a Rose Tico. They could have gave you a Poe Dameron. They could have gave you a General Hux. They could have gave you an Emperor Eternal. They could have gave you a Lando Calrissian. My God, they could have gave you so damn much from The Rise of Skywalker. It's not funny. And Disney would have allowed them. Why didn't they put them out? Why didn't Hasbro put them out? Why didn't Hasbro even put out a 3 3/4 inch line for The Rise of Skywalker? Because of the controversy from The Last Jedi. Had nothing to do with licensing or Harrison Ford saying, no, you can no longer make money off me. I have more lawyers and more power than Disney. No. It's because nobody wanted to make it. Now, they want to make it. The question is, how do they piece these in? So, it's not because none of you want a 212. And no one's going to, yeah, I got Cody, but screw this figure. This figure sucks. Not interested. Give me the Frog Lady. It's more relevant. Everything's relevant with Star Wars. You're going to get this figure. It's just a question of timing. 1,000%. Same thing with this. Same thing with that. Again, you're going to get so many clones. It's absolutely not funny at all. Let's bring this up here. I love this figure. And if you were to ask me, Aries, is it possible that we will actually get Poe Dameron from the sequel trilogy? And I say, yes. Oh, sure. Sure. They had to wait for the sequel trilogy controversy to simmer down. They had to wait for all that hate to kind of dissipate. I didn't mean for that to rhyme, but that was pretty cool. They had to wait for all that hate to dissipate. That's what they had to do. And as the magic of Deborah Chow and Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni and Disney and George Lucas being back continues to do this, Disney is not forgetting about the sequel trilogy. Disney is retconning the sequel trilogy. Since Disney's going to be shoehorning this all in. And Oscar Isaac's a wonderful actor. And what a wonderful job he did as Poe Dameron in here. And for sure, I mean, he's one of the main stars in the sequel trilogy. One of the main stars in the first show, in the first movie, in the second film, and in the third film. Eventually, you're going to get this figure. And let me put it to you in perspective. The counter argument is a lot of people won't buy it. They don't like the sequels. But when you look at what Hot Toys is doing recently, a lot of people didn't like The Matrix, the new movie. Let's use that as a case in point. A lot of people didn't like it. Go read up about it. Go check out how it did in the box office. Okay? No Way Home destroyed it. Destroyed it. Destroyed it. Okay? Again, I liked it a lot. They still made a figure for it. Why? Because they could sell 1,500, 2,000, 3,000 of them. Okay? So then you have to wonder, under that view, is it possible that they could do the same thing here for Poe Dameron? And I say, yes. As a matter of fact, I dare say that this would sell more than the Neo. Why? Because a lot more people have a Star Wars collection than a Matrix collection when it comes to Hot Toys. So just knowing a collector's brain, if they're like, yeah, I don't have a Poe, I think I'm going to buy this. Just, I didn't like the sequels. I didn't like this show, but I'm going to buy it. It's kind of like if they came out with a Jar Jar Binks. Yeah, I really didn't like him, but gosh, I mean, just for the fact of the controversy of it, I'm going to buy it because I want Jar Jar Binks in my collection to tell a story. So there's not going to be as many people as you think that would pass on a Poe Dameron. Certainly during the dark times, it will. And I'm not even sure if it's like, if Aries, just not enough time has passed. I think it has, actually. Why? Because you could thank Favreau and Filoni and Deborah Chow and what they're doing there. You give it another few years, Star Wars is going to have a whole new landscape, baby. It's going to have a whole new way. And I guarantee you, so many other people are going to think differently about the sequels over the next 36 months because of what they're going to do and what they're excited about doing as well. So I actually think that this is going to be coming, especially when you look at the data on some of those other figures. Look at this. Yeah, I think they'd be skittish if you wouldn't get. Who's more important in Star Wars, the Death Star gunner or Han Solo? Let's pause. What's more important in Star Wars, Han Solo or the Death Star gunner? I would venture to say a safe guess is Han Solo. Probably a little bit more popular and a little bit more important than a Death Star gunner. So if you're not going to go see a Solo movie after The Last Jedi, are you going to buy the Death Star gunner in the quantities that Hot Toys want you to? Nowadays, a little bit of a different story. A little bit of a different story. Hot Toys coming soon. Showed you a lot of them. Showed you a lot of the ones in the crypt. See a lot of interesting stuff over here. Jedi Starfighter, R5D4. Look at that on the screen. Battle Droid, 212, Kit Fisto, Padme, N1 Starfighter, The Mandalorian, and Grogu coming from the Book of Boba Fett. Guess Book of Boba Fett releases aren't done yet. Tech, yeah, baby. Grogu, Cobb Vanth, Super Battle Droid. Navarro, Imperial Dioramas. That's going to be interesting to see if they actually do that one. Yeah, wow. Even a Pit Droid coming. Even the Pit Droid and BD-72 coming from the Book of Boba Fett. You're going to get this from the Book of Boba Fett. You're going to get the BD-72 and you're going to get the Pit Droid. That's why they teased it. Again, a lot of people might not be interested in it. Well, a lot of people, again, I'm going to keep arguing it back. A lot of people aren't interested in the Neo Matrix figure. I think they already know that. So what do? They're not going to put out that many. They don't need to make 40,000 of these. So it's quite all right that they're not the most popular droids in the house. It's quite all right. And quite all right that you don't need another Mandalorian with the chrome-plated one coming. But it's coming. You got the Mandalorian and Grogu 6-scale figure set, as I've already told you was coming from the Book of Boba Fett, as you're going to get Black Chrysanthemum from the Book of Boba Fett as well. And you just might get an armor from there, but it didn't sell out yet. Well, the Beskar Mandalorian didn't sell out here either. The Beskar Mandalorian didn't sell out. And they're still going to give you a chrome-plated Mandalorian, and they're still going to give you this Mandalorian. It don't matter. Okay? So they're going to come out with it. And, well, the armor didn't sell out. Well, they're going to come out with that one. The only thing I could tell you is when they come out with this armor from the Book of Boba Fett is it'll be in much lower quantities than that one. Okay? So that would be the one to get if you're looking for, worth quantity-wise. Just like they didn't give you as many Arena Suit Boba Fett's. But, yeah, this is coming. Anytime you see Mandalorian in anything, If he shows up in the Ahsoka series, I don't care if they give you 4 versions of Mando from Mandalorian Season 3. You'll get one from the Ahsoka series because it's Mando. And if Boba Fett shows up in a Mandalorian Season 3, you have to wonder, is it possible that you'll get another Boba Fett from the Mandalorian Season 3? Yes. I still think they're going to come out with the Starfighter, though, man. I really, really do. I really, really do. So crazy. Anyway, that's what I got, my friends. This has been an epic show. Make sure that when you exit, you leave the like button. I am going to be live tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern for Monday Night Raw. We'll have a panel in the house. We're going to go over plenty of this. Make sure as you exit, you hit the like button. I do appreciate everybody's support. And remember to always, let's see if I have it right here. Besides believe, always stay thirsty, my friends. We'll see you tomorrow night.
Collectible.